What's going on, everyone? It's Blizzard, and we are here today to do the Phalanx Season 4 Power Rankings. Today I am joined by...
Alberto.
And table.
Yep, and we are going to be going through all the teams and ranking them, and these... Oh, there's an echo, apparently. Damn it. That sucks. But we're going to be going through and saying the teams based on just the teams itself, not off the coach. These are not predictions for the season. These are just rankings of how good we think each team is on its own. I don't know if there's a great way for me to fix the echo, but
I actually do not hear an echo when I send back to the stream.
Okay, well, hopefully there isn't one. But yeah, let's get into it, and we are going in the order of how they are listed on the doc, which was just the draft order. So you will be able to see here we have Alberto's team up first. He's got a pretty solid team, in my opinion. He's got you can see the team here. He's got Dragapult, Ensign, Gardevoir, Vivian, Empoleon, Furret, Revavroom, Rotom-Mow, Golem, and Primeape. Looking at the speed tiers, wow, you got a lot bunched up. You got one super fast Mon, one pretty slow Mon. No Trick Room, right? Besides Gardevoir, I guess. Gardevoir, not a great setter of Trick Room, but definitely can set it. And yeah, a lot of bunched up speed tiers is not ideal, but having Pult be so much faster than everyone means people are typically having to calc for, or if they want to outspeed something, they have to outspeed Pult, and having that insane gap is pretty annoying. So that's nice to have. We can look at the type chart. Wow. A lot going on in the type chart. We got 4 weaknesses to ice, but 3 resist, one of which is 4 times, so that's not bad. And same thing with your 4 weaknesses to fighting have 2 4 times resist and an immunity, so that's actually not as bad as it looks. And 4 ground weaknesses, but 2 immunities. Okay. So not that bad of a type chart.
Yeah, lots of weakness, but often compensate better by a strong resist, so should be okay.
I also think that typically it's better to have a type chart, a busy type chart, than to have like a very empty type chart, so that you can have a lot of resistances instead of like a lot of weakness, or like a lot of neutral to things. So like if you have one type that literally every Pokemon on your team is like neutral to, or like only neutral plus weaknesses, or like you have 1 resist maybe, then it's like that's more easily exploitable than something like this where you have 4 times resist and an immunity and 4 weaknesses. Like that's harder to exploit than having like 1 ghost resist and then everything else neutral or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, not too bad. We can see that your physical special split is also decent. Pult obviously can go either way. Slightly prefers attack, but it doesn't have a great ghost stab, so it really can go either way. Ensign also very physical. Furt physical. Empoleon special. Vivian special. Physical. Okay, yeah, you have a pretty solid balance. In my opinion. I guess we can sort by speed just for the future. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think of this team, but I think it's pretty solid. I guess it's up to more TBL than Alberto, because it's Alberto's team. But I think that having a really fast support option in Dragapult. Dragapult, obviously not a pure support mon, not a pure attacker. It can be a pure attacker. It can be a pure support mon. It can do whatever you want. It can fill any role. It could be a physical attacker. It can be a special attacker. The one role it can't fill is a bulky mon because it's just naturally pretty frail. But it's so fast and so strong that it's okay. Like that being its one weakness is fine. And it's having no Terraband Mons on the team is quite nice too, right? I don't think.
Yeah, no, Dragapult can't. So. That's what I was thinking when you told about the ghost physical side.
Yeah.
You can always Terra and go Terra Blast to.
Though I will say in doubles, running Terra Ghost Terra Blast is a little bit worse just because you keep your ghost weakness and that matters more in terms of like getting targeted down. But it's okay. Like your Dragapult's not the one you want to Terra most of the time anyways, in my opinion. I feel like you don't if you Terra, it's like Terra Fairy for a dragon immunity or like Terra Ghost for Terra Blast, but you don't Terra it too often. I feel like, or you Terra it occasionally.
Can I say something about Dragapult too?
Yeah.
I think a Phantom Force, especially on Dragapult in doubles, is especially good because it not only bypasses Protect, but Dragapult is so fast that it can not only one-shot people but also evade a lot of stuff.
That is true. It's something you have to look out for, especially if you run like Power Herb, because that way you can get off one for free without having to like, or even if you don't, you have that immunity. Being fast means you'll come back at the start of the turn, but people might have to switch around to like a normal type or like switch to like a dark or something to kind of deal with the Phantom Force. Not too many things can tank it super well, especially for like banded. But I think Pult is a great first overall pick. I was eyeing it. I was thinking like I might want to. Ideally, I could get like a top 3 pick or like a bottom like 4 pick. So that way, if I have a top 3 pick, I have a chance of getting like Pult or something like that. Because I've always wanted to use Pult in draft, and I think it's a great mon, especially next to Ensign. Ensign's a great pivot, and it's a bulky support mon, and can also be a strong attacker as well. So it's like the bulkier version of Dragapult, but they both have very different support options and fill very different roles. So having them together, I feel like works really well, and it's just a great glue piece on any team. Gardevoir as a special attacker is really nice. I think having some of those underrated options, like you have every mon on your team is very much bringable, right? And that is a rare thing. Having 10 real mons on a team really adds to the value. Golem next to Rotom Mo I think is nice because you can click Earthquake very easily, and next to Vivillon you can click Earthquake very easily with them, and obviously Explosion is an option next to your Ghost type or your Steel type, or 2 Steel types I guess.
Telepathy Gardevoir too.
Oh yeah, Telepathy Gardevoir, yeah. You have Redirection from Furret, competitive. You have Rage Powder and Rage Powder and Follow Me as your redirection. So you kind of have a lot of like the staples of doubles, or like things that are like nice to have on a team in terms of Intimidate, right? Intimidate, Fake Out, redirection. You have speed. You have a Trick Room deterrent kind of. Golem's not a great Trick Room deterrent, but you have at least one Slowmon. You have a balanced type chart generally. So I think I also you do have 2 Intimidate deterrents, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I like the team. I think this team has a very, very high ceiling in my opinion, because mons like Revavroom, very easy for it to be a shitter, like in terms of just like being 4 times weak to ground and like being a potential mon in a lot of ways, but if you can use that potential, it's a great mon. Like, it's so worth its value. And Rotom Mo is like the same way. It's like can very easily kind of be kind of crap, but yeah, there's so many ways to use the Rotom forms to like be really good. So I think this team, is like it's really kind of up to the coach on this one of like how it goes, because it's hard to imagine this team like having like a guaranteed output. Like some teams are like, okay, this team will like always be like good, but maybe not great, or I don't know. This team has so many directions it can go, that I feel like it might be a little bit harder to rank. But I'm not sure. TBL, do you have any thoughts?
The only issue I have, well, it's not really an issue. It's the lack of speed control. The only tailwinder is Vivillon. That is fairly easily counterable, so might suffer a bit from that. But Dragon pretty easier, so
That's actually a really
it's
good point. Because I did think I mentioned that at the beginning, and then I just kind of forgot about it. But like, you have Icy Wind on Gardevoir, but Gardevoir is not that fast, so you would kind of need like Scarf for that to be good. Same with Rotom-Mow, like Electro Web, like not very fast. I guess you have a bulkier speed control option with Icy Wind on Empoleon, but as far as Tailwind and Trick Room go, which are like the two like best speed control options in doubles, you have one not great Tailwind setter because it's so frail and it's not super fast. And typically with Tailwind users, it's okay if they're frail, but you either want like a bulkier option that's not super fast, or a really fast option like Prankster, or like Talonflame with Gale Wings, or like some kind of like really fast, even Kilowattrel like is just super fast naturally. So having that fast Tailwind is kind of nice because of the dynamic speed updates. So if you click Tailwind, then it'll instantly apply, not at the end of the turn, which is really good for having like boosting those like slower mons. But I think Vivillon as your only Tailwind setter and Gardevoir as your only Trick Room setter, not ideal, but it just means that your speed control, which is already not super great, is just a little bit more of a problem, I guess. You just won't have the speed advantage too often, but you do have a lot of bulky mons, so maybe it's not as much of a problem. I feel like that is definitely something to consider, though. As much as you have like Ensign, Empoleon, somewhat for it, Golem, kind of Revivroom, kind of Primeape, you have like Vivillon and Dragapult and Gardevoir, and like you have like several weak or like frail mons too. So I think that is something to consider. For right now, I think we can. Whoa, what happened here? Why is this messed up? You know, we'll just keep it on this. It's fine. We'll just kind of put you at the middle for now, and then we'll kind of see how we'll move you up or down depending on how the other teams do. I think just putting you towards the middle of the pack, I think is fine for now. Any you guys can talk to like.
No, I pretty much agree with the fact that it's in the middle. So...
Oh, I know what the problem is. Here we go.
The team is balanced. There's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah, I agree. The main issue with my team is the not only lack of speed control, but the speed tiers are kind of wonky as well.
Yeah,
It's nice that I have a super fast Dragapult, but a lot of stuff between 90 and 80 is kind of bad.
And if Dragapult had speed control, then it would be less of a problem too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so I think that's solid. Let's move on to the second team, which is Spam's team. Spam, I think, has a really interesting team. He's got Goldengo, which is like kind of the focal point of the team, with redirection from Clefable, which is like a great redirector. Hydreigon, and matches up with those two to make a great Dragon Fairy Steel Core. The three mons on their own have just insane synergy, especially with the ground immunity from Hydreigon is really nice as well. And I think out of those mons, Goldengo can't Terra, but Clefable and Hydreigon love to Terra. so that works pretty well as well. And looking at other mons, we have like Berserker is great synergy with Golden Go. We have Thwacky, who has great synergy with Halucha. We have 3 fake out users actually on this team, which is kind of crazy. In Infernape, and Thwacky and Berserker. We have pretty balanced speed tiers all around. Halucha gets Tailwind, maybe? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I can look up.
I don't think it gets Tailwind. So
No, it doesn't. Just Hydreigon.
yeah, Hydreigon does. That's what I was talking about with like if it's okay to have a little bit of a bulkier Tailwind option as well, like Volcarona or Hydreigon is the other one that was in my mind. And Jolteon also has Electro Web, so your speed control is decent. And you have some mons on the slower end, mainly Clefable and Berserker, who are fine with Trick Room, but maybe not like great deterrents, but they're decent for sure. And yeah, I mean, just a lot of power overall. We have 2 really strong special attackers at the top and Jolteon, which is good because the rest of his team kind of went in a more physical direction. I mean, we have, besides the first 3 picks, 5 of the next 6 were physical attackers. So that was a good adjustment to kind of rebalance the physical special split. I think Infernape also as a mixed attacker means that you have like a pretty much perfect physical special split. I think let's look at the type chart, but I feel like it's good. Yeah, very busy type chart, which is obviously nice. You have a slight fire weakness, but that's okay. Maybe a slight flying weakness as well. Flying is one of those types that I feel like you tend to have like a flying and ground and fairy. Like those are like the really good offensive types. So like you're typically going to have more more teams that are neutral or weak to those types than most types. So that's okay. Having a fire weakness isn't great because Golden Go is like supposed to be like a huge part of the team. That's why I think adding Feraligatr was quite nice towards the end. Feraligatr also hits super hard, great budget pick with the sheer force. I guess we could also remove Kricketune and feel like the type chart would be better that way. Oh my god, yeah, it's a lot better. You do have a slight ground weakness, but you have 2 immunities, so that's
balanced.
And you have grassy terrain for Earthquake. So actually, this ground weakness is not nearly as bad as it looks on paper, which is great. And yeah, I like this team a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Like
I think it's almost like a 2-2-2 team, right? That has so many good combos and pairs, and it's pretty versatile too.
Yeah, I was thinking that like I wouldn't really call it a 2-2-2 team, but there are like these Thwacky and Halucha are definitely like kind of a pair on their own, and Berserker mainly pairs with Golden Go, and so like there are like a lot of those mons that like are kind of there mainly for a specific pairing, but there is a better impact overall. I mean, because Grassy Seed Halucha is obviously the typical combo with Unburdened, but you could also run Grassy Seed on any one of these mons to make like all of these mons really benefit from. Hopefully, you guys can see my cursor, but
Yeah,
Yeah, we can.
well, you guys are seeing it on Discord, but
no, we cannot do stream.
oh, perfect. So these top 3 mons all really benefit from a defense boost too. I mean, looking at the stats down here, I mean, Clefable's a little bit better on the Spadef side, and so having that little defense boost is nice. But like, I think all around here, you would benefit from a little bit of a Grassy Seed boost. I think Golden Go has a lot of options to support it, which I really like. Something like Golden Go, if it can't Terra, you have to kind of plan around a little bit more or have more tools to make it good, because it's gonna struggle a little bit like on its own. But once you get it get it in a decent spot, it'll show you why it's worth 19 points, right? Even while terror banned. So, and again, I think you have a really good balance of defense with offense. Like you have some of those mons that are more on the fast and frail side, like Halucha and Jolteon and Infernape as well. And out of those, only really Infernape likes running the Sash too, which is nice. Like only having one mon that you really need with Sash is great, because if you have multiple mons that really want Sash, then that kind of sucks. And you have other like bulky mons, like Feraligator's bulky while hitting really hard, and same with Hydreigon and Golden Go. So having the redirection of Clefable also, I think, is just so big. Getting Clefable really was the glue piece on this team, I think. But yeah, I like the team a lot. The biggest weaknesses, again, having not a super fast Tailwind and no Trick Room is like not ideal, but it's kind of okay. I think there's very obvious synergy, but other than that, there's like not as much less obvious synergy. Like the obvious synergy, as we talked about, like Thwacky, Halucha's the big one, Berserker, Golden Go, Clefable with mainly Hydreigon or Golden Go. But like, I know his initial plan, or one of his ideas was Murkrow to pair with Golden Go, and that would have been nice to have, though I think Hydreigon is still great. I think this team might look a little bit better on paper than it is in practice, but it still is a really good team. So I think we should kind of,
I think it's a similar case to my team, because it has a lot of potential, but it's definitely not super easy to pilot.
Yeah, I would say this team is also pretty reliant on the coach, and I think that's how honestly a lot of the teams in this season are. But that's okay, because we have a lot of good players in this league. And again, we're not really going off of like the coach skill. We're just going off of like how easy, like how good the team is. And I think it's a great team. If I were to prep into this team, I wouldn't really know how to attack it, right? I mean, the ground weakness is obviously something, but it's not something super major. It's like if you can get up Tailwind, I feel like that's probably the best way, just because you then outspeed like his whole team, unless he's like. Yeah, unless he gets the Halucha up with Unburden. If you have Trick Room, you're going to have to take a beating before you can even get up the Trick Room. And then you have Berserker to deal with in Trick Room. So it's like, this team has a lot of natural answers. I don't love that there's only one Ghost Resist, because, again, Golden Go can't Terra. And I don't love that you're either neutral or weak to fire, depending if you had Kricketune, right? Because that's another weakness of Golden Goes, but that's not even a huge deal. And you also have, Clefable for redirection is great, especially with Terra available to it. I think this is just a really good team overall. I don't see a ton of really inherent flaws with it.
I think the fire resistances are kind of fake. Most of the fire resistance Pokemon are a bit squishier.
Yeah,
especially Infernape and
Hydreigon likes to Terra too.
So bulkier on
That's
one
true.
side. Yeah.
So, TBO, what were you gonna say too?
No, I was thinking that the team is really balanced. There's nothing really bad about it, but I don't see something that makes it incredibly menacing as well. Like obviously there's Golden Go, but I don't feel like it pushes too much in one direction. So that's a plus and a minus in my opinion.
I think that's a good call, actually, because with a team that, like a rain team has like a very clear objective. If it has like Basculegion or like Arcalon, like any like mon like commands so much respect, then it's a different story. But here you have Golden Go is the main threat, but it can't Terra. Hydreigon's a really powerful threat, but it kind of has to Terra. And then like you have as far as other powerful threats, like Halucha's very frail. Infernape is very frail. You can't bring Feraligator too much, and it's like it's not super bulky, and like it's at a weird speed tier, and you don't have a great way of getting it to be faster, and like Berserker's not as strong on its own, and it's really slow, and so there's no commanding threat. Like on your team, Alberto, like we can look at mainly Dragapult, but it's like this is like a really scary mon that's a nightmare to prep for. There's no real like mon on this team that's a problem. It's just kind of like the team in general is the problem. Like there's just so many good mons that you have to keep an eye out for, but there's no like great mons. Like a lot of good, not a lot of great, or like not a lot of like super scary. So
When you think about the two highest damage dealing moves of his team, which are Make It Rain on Goldengo and Draco Meteor on Hydreigon, they can be checked by the same Pokemon, like a bulky Steel type or a Terra Steel type.
that does. I mean, he does have a lot of work. I mean, with the fighting and the fire and the
Yes, of
ground,
course.
like
Which you know
or
what
fire.
I mean? Like his
Yeah.
two biggest threats are the same role.
I will say though also, besides that Make It Rain, he really does not have a whole lot of spread. So that is another thing to consider. Not a whole lot of spread moves besides that. But yeah, again, I think we'll have to kind of see how the other teams shape up, but I think this is a pretty good team. It's hard for me to imagine this team being like below average, but I will have to see the other teams. So I guess for now we'll just put it. I think above your team. I know I'm just gonna put it in there, but I think your team has 10 Mons, which is a pro. But other than that, I think his team is just a little bit more balanced generally. In terms of speed tier, in terms of type chart, in terms of he has 9 real Mons, and Kriegatoon is like kind of real. And you have 10 real Mons, but I think his team, I would say, is probably a little bit better definitely better on paper, but even in practice, is probably slightly better.
Yeah, and the fact that there's no abusable speed tiers like in the...
Yeah, I mean, very balanced speed tiers, and you have more speed control in those faster options in Tailwind, right? So I think it's... Yeah, I think Spam could find a lot of success with this team. But
The two teams are definitely close, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's not a huge difference. Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to Alberto. You can pronounce it.
Kanji.
Who, looking at the team, you can see that he has Cutifly and Haunter, who I guess we can remove for now. But I mean, Cutifly, I guess, has a webs, which is not really something that matters in doubles. Haunter has like Levitate, has like some decent support options. So it's not like Haunter's like not unbringable, but it's not a mon you want to bring most, like 90% of the time. Yeah, we'll just remove them both for now. But looking at these main 8, I think Porygon and Ursaluna Blood Moon are like great duo. I had them last season, and I think that they were incredible. Though this season, Ursaluna got slightly cheaper and Porygon got slightly more expensive, basically canceling out. But Ursaluna remained Terra banned in a format where now a lot of Mons got un-Terra banned. Like for last season, we instantly banned all of the A+ and S tier Mons from Terraing. Now it's only specific Mons that are Terra banned. Ursaluna Blood Moon's one of them, meaning it's not nearly as threatening as it is with Terra, but still such a strong Mon. So many sets you can run with it. Milotic is a great bulky Mon. Having Serena to deal with priority is great. You have Typhlosion, but the only real partner for Typhlosion is Fletchinder. I guess you have Fake Out and Electroweb on options on Raichu, but other than that, like Typhlosion just kind of feels like a scary Mon thrown on there that like you just have to like be prepared for, but doesn't have like a ton of great support. Fletchinder is your only like Tailwind setter. It is a priority Tailwind setter, so it's a good budget pick, but you typically don't want to be forced to bring Fletchinder so often, right? Like if you want a Tailwind mode, which you have a lot of Mons that benefit from Tailwind, if you want to bring that Tailwind mode, you really have to bring Fletchender, and having him as one of your 6 and then one of your 4 so often is a little rough. And having no real, I mean, you have one setter for Trick Room, which has no redirection to help it because there's no redirection on the team. There's no redirection to help set up that Trick Room. And then you only have one Mon besides that setter who benefits from Trick Room. It makes it so that both the Tailwind and the Trick Room modes on this team are not as real as they look. I mean, you have a great setter for both, but not a great setter for Tailwind, but like a priority setter. But you have no great abuser for either, which is a little unfortunate. No great. I guess it's no great abuser for Trick Room besides like one Mon, and then no great setter for Tailwind, despite having some Mons that would benefit from it. Looking at the type chart, I mean this half of the type chart is looking perfect. I mean, 5 steel resists, and there's literally no weaknesses to any of these types. But on this half, I mean, 3 fighting weaknesses, 1 resist. Water has 3 weaknesses, 2 resists, and for ground, you have 3 weaknesses, 1 resist and 1 immunity, but one of those immunities is Fletchender. So, and then just literally 1 resist on the flying side for 1 weakness, no straight neutral on the psychic side, 1 resist on the normal side. Like, it's not. This is what I meant by like busy type charts are typically better, because like with psychic, it's just if you don't run like a Terra type that resists psychic, then like you kind of get destroyed by anyone clicking a psychic. Like you can just hit your entire team for neutral, and maybe you like that. Maybe you have like AV, Ursa, Blood Moon, or you have Milotic, and like some mons that can like tank psychic moves decently well. Porygon too, right? But most of the time, having a type be neutral into everything is not good. So, with that being said, I think there are a lot of pluses. I've mainly kind of talked about the negatives, but I think having Raichu for Fake Out and Speed Control is quite nice. I like Raichu a lot. I think Porygon and Ursulina Blood Moon are such a scary duo. Especially with Porygon being able to Terra, like being able to just fill any role you need as a bulky Mon, as an attacker, as a support Mon. It can do anything as long as it isn't really knocked off. No redirection isn't great, but Porygon is just so good on its own, kind of, that I don't think it really needs redirection. And Ursa does benefit from it, but if it's in Trick Room, Ursa can just be a demon no matter what. Milotic, I think, can be a good special wall or physical wall, depending on what you need in the matchup. Like if you're going for Marvel scale or competitive, more like an attacker side. Lucario, again, is a mixed attacker. Typhlosion is just a mon you have to really keep an eye out for in prep, because like one day you could randomly just go Scarf Typhlosion Hisui or Specs Typhlosion Hisui with the Fletchender or something like that and run Eruption, and then like you just kill 2 of your Pokemon and they're like, shoot, now I'm just in a 2v4 instantly. So like you have to keep an eye out for that for sure to make sure it doesn't like sweep you. It's not Hisuian, so you can fake it out unless it's like Covert Cloak for some reason. But like it's still one of those problem mons you have to keep an eye out for in the prep for sure. And you have a lot of individual mons that are just like, I don't want to have to fight this. Does he have a beat up user with Lucario, by the way? I don't think so. I guess we can.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, no beat up user. But yeah, I guess I don't know why
We
it
didn't
says
even talk about Sarina too.
This is just not.
Sarina with Queen Majesty is really useful for this team. Once you have Trick Room up, basically nothing can outspeed Ursaluna.
That is true. I think I was looking at Serena kind of individually, but in terms of the team as well, it is a great partner for for those Trick Room mods, as you said, and for I guess you can't run Fake Out into Typhlosion if there's if there's a Serena on the field, and there's always a threat of a Serena switching into, which I really like. With Serena and Farigiraf, there's always a mind game. Just if it's you see it in team preview, it's like one of those mons you kind of always want to bring, whether or not you want to bring it. Like you always bring it just to have in team preview. Maybe not Serena, but like Frig for sure. You want to have it as a threat. Like, hey, I could always switch it in. Like you never know, and that way you have to like until your opponent sees your entire team. Then there's a constant threat of what if he switches in on my priority attack or Fake Out. Then I just waste my attack, leave myself vulnerable. Like it prevents that from just existing in the back or from existing on the field, which is really nice. So I do think Serena was a good call here. I like the Firewater Grass Core. Again, I feel like Typh could maybe have a little bit better of support, but also like doesn't need it. Like it can be a real threat on its own. Milotic, I think, is a great glue piece on this team. I think the Milotic call was huge because it works really well with these two mons, especially good for the Tailwind mode with Icy Wind. It's just bulky. It's a great and kind of the only Intimidate deterrent, which Serena and Lucario already aren't the strongest physical attackers. So having that is kind of nice, and that is something to mention as well, the physical special split. You have Fletchender kinda as a physical attacker, Lucario's mixed, and then Serena's your only pure physical attacker. And then all five of these guys, your five top mons, all want to be special all the time. So that's something to consider. But yeah, I really do like Milotic on this team.
Yeah, I just can get past the problem with the Tailwind and the Trick Room. There's not enough Trick Room abuser to really use it, and there's not an. Fletchinder has too much to do to be the only real Tailwind setter.
Yeah, I feel like if on another team, maybe you can get away with Fletchinder as a really good budget Tailwind setter, just as a threat. When you kind of want Tailwind on this team, I feel like if you replace this with Talonflame or with like Illumise Volbeat, I don't know, something with like priority Tailwind other than Fletchinder that you can know is a little bit more reliable, then maybe this team is a lot more scary. But I would agree that it is definitely a glaring weakness, or something you have to think about a lot, at least.
I think this team lacks a bit of immediate power too. It needs setup to really work. Either a Tailwind, a Trick Room.
I think that Typhlosion's obviously like an immediate threat. Other than that, though, you're completely right. Against a bulky team, this team will really struggle, especially like a team that can deal with Typhlosion really easily. Like a rain team against this team, like the only real answer is Serena as a grass type. I guess you have Lightning Rod for like any like a Arch or like Jolteon, like kind of like any mon that like electric type that likes being on rain teams. You have Milotic as a water type, but and these two have great natural synergy. But other than that, it's like he can still be quite vulnerable. Like it's like kind of just Milotic is your best answer. So I think against like rain teams, these two are going to be pulling so much weight. And Raichu has such a frail mon means that like you can't expect it to do everything. And one thing I will also say is that Raichu like has to run Sash on this, especially like on this team. I feel like it has to run Sash so often that it's very predictable. And like Porygon's always running Eviolite. Ursaluna is always running a damage boosting move, Resist Berry, or like AV. Like Serena loves running AV. Like there are a lot of predictable items. Like Typh almost always runs like Scarf Specs, something kind of along those lines to help its eruptions be more threatening. So you are a little bit predictable on this team as well, which is not super ideal. But as far as it compares to the other teams here, I think it's probably worse than Alberto's team, definitely worse than Spam's team.
Yeah, for me
I
it's
think
at
we
the
would probably put it below
Agree.
for now.
Mhm.
All right, so let's move on to the fourth team, which is Soup. Soup has a very interesting team. A lot of these mons I think are really good for their value or just kind of good on their own. King Gambit, Can Terra, I believe, which is really nice. Grimmsnarl is a great prankster support mon. Very underrated in terms of its ability to be a prankster supporter. But the real value, I think, lies in Piloswine, Slowbro, and especially Arboliva. I think a great option there. Staraptor as well, kind of. I think Ariados has seen a lot of usage in champions as a Sneasler counter, as like a redirector. But it can be good generally. I think like having this glaring 4 times weakness to fighting is like not a problem on this team really. Even though you have 2 other weaknesses, you have Hisuian Zorak, who's amazing into as a King Gambit, right? Disguise as King Gambit, I guess. With Slowbro, you have redirection here from Ariados. So I think Ariados actually can, fulfill a pretty solid role on this team still. Metatite, I think it gets skill swap, and so skill swap huge power is definitely an option. Actually, I think it definitely does. And Slowbro also gets skill swap, I guess. So you have that as an option. Other than that, I don't think it's coming very often. It gets like Feint. I think it gets Fake Out maybe. So it actually has some options, but for the sake of right now, we'll just kind of remove it. So when we look at the type chart here, we can see that a little bit of a weakness to rock, flying, and fire. Don't love how there's two weaknesses and only one resist to deal with this flying type. One of those is Ariados though, same with the rock. It's like 3 weaknesses, 1 resist, but one of those is Ariados. I think Ariados is probably worth keeping on here, but I guess for making the type chart look a little bit better, we can remove it for now. I think with your speed tiers, you kind of want to go Trick Room a lot of the time with Slowking or Slowbro, and you only have you have this huge jump in speed tiers. Even if you add back these other 2 mons, you can see that there's still a huge jump in speed tiers from 60 to 95, and that's a little rough. Typically, you don't want to be having that big of a gap, and I think having your one Tailwind setter be Staraptor, and then having only 2 mons benefit from Tailwind at all, or like speed. You have Icy Wind, right? I guess on Sui and Zoroark, but and Thunderwave on Grimmsnarl, but literally only 2 mons benefit from that, and one of those is Zoroark itself. I guess Staraptor as well does benefit from it, but you're not bringing that nearly as often. So Arcanine and Hisuian Zoroark can feel like maybe a little bit awkward at times. That being said, I feel like Hisuian Zoroark is great as a King Gambit disguise. Really good to force a lot of prep, because when you think about your opponent's team, like, okay, I want to be able to reveal this disguise, but at the same time, like, I can't fake out in the Gambit confidently now. I can't CC into it confidently, and so you don't always have to Terra Gambit right away. You have Slowbro, who can't be taunted to set Trick Room, which is awesome. Could also theoretically run Regenerator sets, right? If it wants to be even more bulky, but getting that guaranteed Trick Room up, having to kill Slowbro, who's so bulky, to get up to stop Trick Room getting up is great, because it means your Trick Room mode can happen a lot of the time. Though it's a little weird, because looking at the value of this team, right? You have Mon that loves Trick Room, Mon that can set Trick Room, and then Mon that loves Trick Room, and then 2 of your best Mons don't like Trick Room at all. One of your best Mons doesn't really care about Trick Room, so it's the Trick Room isn't actually doing a whole lot for you, but you want Trick Room up a lot. So it's a little weird that way, I guess.
Yeah, Trick Room
Yeah.
feels like a side plan that really should be a main plan.
Oh, spam said sup fuckers, and it got like blocked, and I had to choose allow or deny on it. But yeah, it doesn't really have a great game plan. I feel like Zoroark, other than being freaking Gambit, is not great because like the dark weakness is shared here. I don't know. I feel like it can't really disguise as anything super well. Like if you have you just can't really run Intimidate Arcanine with the or Staraptor, I guess, with the Zoroark. I feel like it'd be okay. Like you could maybe disguise this with Icy Wind, Pilot's Wine, or like I don't know. I feel like it's maybe a Hyper Voice, but it's kind of a mid mon on like. Hisuian Zoroark is valued pretty highly because there are a lot of teams where like it being able to disguise is really valuable. Here it's like kind of valuable. I think Gambit is like the main thing. So I feel like it's very easy for this team to feel like out of place with like Arcanine and Zoroark and Arpulova. I feel like a lot of these mons can feel like if they're not in a good position, they're in a bad position. Like and most mons you want to be like adaptable, like Grimmsnarl, no matter what position it's in a solid position or a decent, like, and what no matter what the board state is, unless maybe you're up against like Psychic Terrain or Fergraph or Serena or something like maybe then it's not great, but most of the time it's in a good spot. Arcanine is pretty dependent on the board state. Zoroark, Arbolova. Also, like, Staraptor's a little bit hard to bring. Piloswine outside of Trick Room is pretty rough, but in Trick Room is pretty good, has priority. Sucker Punch Mind Games could be a problem as well. But, yeah, I think this seems okay. I definitely don't think it's bad, but I'm a little bit concerned with the potential of this team. Like, I feel like it's very easy for this team to just get, like, kind of outplayed in a very straightforward way. Like if a team has a game plan, like a very obvious, like I'm a Sun team, like how does this team stop that? It doesn't have any way to like really change the weather very easily to stop Trick. I mean, it has a decent way of stopping Trick Room. It has kind of no answer for Tailwind, besides like I guess Thunder Wave to slowly like deal with some of those mons, but like ground types or anything electric types, like it just kind of doesn't have anything great. No, like you have one electric immunity too for like Electro Web, Icy Wind. Like you have Electro Web, Icy Wind, like a mon that likes to deter that kind of and deter Intimidate a little, but yeah, I don't know. The physical special split also I feel like was pretty solid. Yeah, you have more threatening physical attackers, but you have Zoroark, Arcanine can go special for sure. Arbolova hits really hard as well, special, Slowbro, so I feel like you're fine on this physical special split too. But yeah, this team feels a little bit mid to me.
I think one thing going for this team is that it can steal wins. Because King Gambit is, I don't want to say cheap, but it's a Pokemon that can turn around matches pretty easily.
Yeah, that is true.
With Illusion on Zoroark too, I think if your opponent plays badly or guesses wrong, basically, this team can steal a win pretty handily.
I think that's a good shout. I think this team can, it definitely leaves more room for opponent misplays. Like,
yeah,
more so than, we haven't looked at the other teams yet, but I would say almost every other team, like this team has so much room for opponents to misplay. But it's not like one misplay will win you the game. Like you kind of need a lot to go right for you to win a game with this team. I feel like it's like I guess like any team like that commands like a lot of like against Ursaluna. Like if you get one turn wrong, you can lose the game. Or against like a 2-2-2 team, get one turn wrong, you could lose the game. Or against a rain team, like I don't know, any team that like has like a very clear objective, you can lose the game off of like one turn or two turns maybe, but like usually like one turn. Here, you kind of need a lot of turns to go right for you. Like this team would require really good coach play to get to like well into playoffs, right? This team feels like a team that will probably be around middle of the pack. Maybe slightly above, maybe slightly lower, but it's hard to imagine this team having its ceiling feels a little capped. Its floor, I mean, this team could just be trash. I don't really see it being trash, but its floor is much lower than its ceiling is high. I guess it's a good way of thinking about
Yeah,
it.
I like that way of putting it. I feel like it doesn't go so far. It gets stopped pretty easily on this track. It wants to do two things, but doesn't do the two things fully. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little confused with what it wants to do or what it wants to accomplish, I guess. So, for that reason, I would probably put it maybe above Shenji. Maybe.
Yeah, but at least
I
Senji
would.
has your Salad and Blood Moon for Trick Room, like.
Yeah, I feel like both of these teams kind of have a little bit confused game plans, but here, I mean, I guess you don't have. You do have one fake out option. You have, I think Grimmsnarl is to this team as Milotic is to Shanji's team in terms of like as a glue piece. I feel like Grimmsnarl is really good on this team, and Milotic is probably more valuable to Shanji's team than Grimmsnarl is here. But I think Grimmsnarl adds so much. I think it may be a coin flip between these two, but I would probably put his Soup's above.
Me too. I think the difference between these teams is that I think Soup's team is harder to prep against.
This team is pretty hard to
Harder
prep
to
against,
play
I will
against.
say.
Yeah.
Because on paper, it's like there's not a great way of stopping Trick Room. On paper, there's not a great way to deal with a King Gambit based on like some of these other mons in the team, and a King Gambit who can Terra or Hisuian Zoroark as a partner for it. Like there's just like a lot of things that Soup can accomplish for sure, and because even if he can accomplish them for sure, maybe it's not as much of a problem. But having like kind of those guarantees of like I can always get a Trick Room if I want to, that alone is really nice. So.
Also, I think spread moves kind of wreck this team.
Palestine gets wide guard, doesn't it? Or no?
Let me check.
I don't think so, actually. But it also said that Raichu and Lucario got follow me, so maybe this isn't fully accurate.
Raichu doesn't, I checked.
Yeah, I know. Lucario, I definitely
Palazzoin
doesn't
have a wide guard.
Yeah, so it's... I do think, like, against an Eruption, like a Torkoal or a Typhlosion, like, this team struggles, besides, like, you would have to run, like, Flash Fire on Arcanine to deal with that, pretty much. Or against...
Even a regular Disquake that I think 3 or 4 teams has.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty annoying to deal with.
I mean, Pilot's your only electric immunity, and then you have, like, Arboliva's... Actually, Arboliva is your best Disquake answer because it sets up Grassy. But...
Yeah, true.
Or it can set up Grassy terrain, but you have no abusers for Grassy terrain other than having, like, generally bulky Mons. So, that's kind of, like, a little bit of wasted potential there, too.
And it's a reactive Grassy terrain.
Yeah, it's not like you automatic.
Switch.
Yeah. So I would still probably put it above, but what do you guys think?
Me too.
Okay. TBL, what do you think?
Yeah, I can agree. I can see both being having arguments to be made.
Can't type. All right. Let's move on to the fifth team, which I believe is Nick. Yep. And here you can see that he has a lot of really interesting Mons, I will say. All of the 9 Mons on this team are really bringable for sure. Sentret is only bringable as a follow me user because there's no redirection on this team. Like, maybe it comes, but I think for the purposes of this, we can remove it just because, like, you don't really want to bring Sentret if you don't have to. I think Dragonite is really good on this team. Dragonite Glamora, I think matches like pair together really well. Having that Volbeat for Tailwind really helps this team. You can see how many of these mons really like Tailwind, and Glowking for Trick Room. I mean, you have a lot of mons that are kind of on the slower side, so Tailwind teams and Trick Room teams both kind of struggle into this team, I would say. Having Volbeat is a great glue piece. You have a little bit of a bunching of speed tiers here and like a little bit of a jump here. With 105 as your fastest, maybe not great. That this is happening. I think these speed tiers are like maybe not ideal, but if the opponent doesn't have Tailwind or doesn't have like a great form of speed control, you can control the pace of this game very easily. Also, you have E-Speed, right, that on Dragonite, very obvious, like, kind of a threat to be able to attack with priority. Dragonite is Terra Normal Terra banned.
Pixelate quick attack too.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Does hit a little bit hard. You do have Terra Normal, or you don't have Terra Normal E-Speed because Dragonite is Terra Normal Terra banned, but it can Terra for every other set, right? Like Terra Fairy, like Scale Shot is very common, or like Terra Water. I mean, like there's a lot of typings where that are good for it. It can run Inner Focus or Multi-Scale very easily on this team, I think. Chilly Reception has a pair with Clodsir. That's another weird combo you can go with, because Clodsir is a demon. Then I think Bisharp is a great budget pick. I was looking at it. I don't know if I suggested or if he suggested it, but I think he suggested it. But I was eyeing it for my own team because I thought it was really good as a 6-point budget pick. It's like King Gambit, but not quite as scary, not nearly as bulky, but it can run Eviolite to deal with that bulky issue, and it's a little bit like is at a decent speed tier instead of like a really slow speed tier or like a awkwardly slow speed tier. Glamora, I think, fits the team super well. Sylveon, I think, fits the team super well. You have Fake Out from Mienshao. You have bulkier mons, especially Glowking and Mudsdale, but you also, and like I guess Multi-Scale, I guess kind of Eviolite too, so you have like a lot of options for bulky, but you also have like nukes, like Clodsir's a straight nuke. Bisharp can be a nuke, especially if you give it banned. Dragonite with banned is a problem. Meteor Beam is a problem. Mienshao is a problem. Sylveon's a problem. I mean, like, Glowking has a really high special attack to that. And you have Tail Glow Baton Pass if you really want it. So, like, there are a lot of ways that this team could find success. I think Sentret being your only redirector was a big miss, because this team would have really liked redirection, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But...
yeah, I agree.
And I kind of can't get past how you have one mon above 86 speed. That's not... even with Prankster Tailwind, that's the only kind of... like, if you have Prankster Tailwind and they don't have Priority Tailwind, then it's not a problem. If you go... I feel like, though, if your opponent has Tailwind, you almost always would rather go your Trick Room route, though. So...
I think a big weakness with this team is that it has a lot of Pokemon that are kind of Terra reliant.
That is true.
Glamora, Dragonite, Clawitzer, Mienshao.
Sylveon too, yeah.
Yeah.
I think another thing to consider is that, like, some of these mons are situationally bulky. Like, Mudsdale is bulky, but, like, if you can hit it for super effective, or if you don't let stamina get up, then it's not really that bulky. Bisharp has a 4x weakness, so it kind of needs to Terra and have Eviolite to be bulky. But other than that, it's not like super bulky. Yeah, I think that the Terra is definitely a problem, because I think most of these, like, besides Volbeat, besides like kind of Mienshao, besides kind of Mudsdale, like pretty much everything wants to Terra.
Yeah.
Even kind of Glowking, even kind of Bisharp. Yeah, I feel like almost everything wants to Terra. Looking at the type chart too. Pretty balanced actually. I think it's maybe a little bit empty at some points, but not too bad. having your Mudsdale be your only electric immunity, or resist, like you have no resist, only Mudsdale's your electric immunity, not great. Ghost, you have Bisharp is your only ghost resist or immunity, like that's not great. You have Bisharp also as your only psychic immunity with 2 weaknesses, also not great. Like E-Force can just like cripple this team theoretically. We talked about Disquake earlier. I think that's definitely a problem for this team. Dragonite, the only ground immunity, but like Dragonite loves Totera, and so basically you could have up to 0 to 1 answers to ground. Other than that, Volbeat I guess is an answer, but it's not really bulky enough to help with that.
And it's not like it's gonna strengthen the opponent's back. So
yeah, so I will say Volbeat has a lot of potential on this team, but like it also can't do a lot of the roles it likes to do traditionally on this team. Like when I think of using Volbeat, not that I've ever used it, but when I think of using Volbeat, I think of like wanting to click Prankster Weather, right? Especially if to deal with opposing weathers. And yeah, you like clicking Prankster Rain Dance sometimes because Clawter, because maybe you run Hurricane Dragonite. Like maybe it helps with like your like the fire weakness that Volbeat and Bisharp have. Like I don't know. Rain Dance isn't a bad option. But like doesn't like clicking Sunny Day like pretty much ever. Doesn't like clicking Tailwind against opposing Tailwind just because like it's kind of pointless. I guess Encore is a big thing for this team because if you can get set up on a lot of these mons, then they can be good. But the same thing goes with like Clawter is a nuke without setup. Glamora kind of needs Power Herb Meteor Beam to be set up and dealing a lot of damage. Dragonite kind of needs setup to be dealing a lot of damage. Sylveon likes Throat Spray to be dealing a lot of damage. Like a lot of good Tail Glow Baton Pass partners, I guess. Something to consider. And Physical Special Split looks pretty good down here, but you have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 physical mons, one of which is Mudsdale, but Mudsdale could. Yeah, Mudsdale also could use the defense right for body press. But 4 physical mons, and they're all very strong physical mons, like 125, 125, 135, 134. That's pretty strong. And then Glamora, kind of Dragonite. Sylveon, Clawser looking like you have a lot of. I guess every single mon on this team can do a lot of damage, besides Volbeat, I guess. But every single mon on this team can do a lot of damage, which is nice. Definitely nice. But it's a question of like how often can you be just dealing straight damage with this team?
Yeah, it's semi-bulky too. There is not really a full bulky Pokemon.
Yeah.
The closest one is Mudsdale and Glowking, but Mudsdale doesn't have any recovery.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, redirection on this team would be huge. So I think Sentret was a great budget pick, but like Sentret's not your redirector. You want like a bulky. Like if this team had like Clefairy or Magmar, or like any redirector, I feel like would really benefit this team. And not having that, I feel like makes this team just a little bit disappointing. But this team has so much potential. Like this team could be so scary. If you just like any one of these mons could ruin your opponent's game. Like any one of these mons could get an insane number of kills, and that's something you have to keep an eye out for. Even Volbeat, who can't really do that directly, could set up Tail Glow and Baton Pass for someone else, right?
Yeah, and especially in prep, it's a tough team to prep against because the 9 mons can come, so it's really hard to prep.
Yeah, I think for that reason, I would not really know how to rank it. I think it's better than Soup, definitely better than Soup's team. Alberto and Spam, it's another story. It's a kind of a question mark. I think Spam's team has way more synergy. I think Alberto's team has a lot more synergy too. I mean, just like glancing at it again just because it's been a while. Yeah, compared to Alberto's team, I might like it slightly more. Compared to Spam's team, I might like it slightly less. So I'm a little tempted to put it between the two, but at the same time, I feel like Alberto's team might be a little better. I would
Yeah,
probably.
Alberto has like a build where when it doesn't have a fast menace.
Yeah, both these teams like kind of only have one fast mon, but Dragapult's insanely fast and Mienshao is like kind of fast. So, but I would still probably give the edge to Nick's team, just because he has so many scary mons that I feel like trying to beat this team is like you have to hit him for super effective a lot, and looking at his type chart, like that's kind of plausible to do, but this team, if you don't have a good way of dealing with any individual mon, it could be a problem, right? If like, let's say your team has no answer for Mudsdale, then you kind of get cooked by Mudsdale. Like Mudsdale can have the power to win on its own. Like any of these mons have the power to like either win, maybe not win on their own, but to like put in so much work and do so much damage, be so much of a problem that I think it's Oh, also one thing, you only have one ground immunity for Mudsdale Earthquake. It's not great, but I still think this team has just so much power that I would have to kind of take that into consideration.
I get the argument. I agree.
I would put it below Spam's team for sure.
Yeah,
but
for me it's either just above or just below Alberto. But
yeah, I think I'll give Nick's team the nod just because again how scary it is. I do like Alberto having 10 mons. I do think the redirection matters a lot for Alberto's team, and if this team had redirection, it would be so scary. But yeah, I'll give Nick's team the nod, I guess, and we can revisit later too. Then we have TBL's team. So, sorry TBL. You might have to stay out of this combo a little bit less. Looking at this team, we have a really high res Orchaludon here. Who's the focus of this team. Wow. Very fun speed tiers. 240, I guess Mudkip doesn't really count, but 40, 50, 265, 385. And then you have your one kind of fast mon, one really fast mon. Barraskewda being 136 base speed it's just so stupid because this thing, like, it already has Swift Swim, so like why does it need that much speed? But it's also insanely good. You have, I think, the only two mons that can ignore redirection too, which is awesome. I think Scizor fits this team super well. I think Sinisha, pretty good shout. That's not Sinisha. Wait a minute. It's supposed to be Poltergeist.
Oh yeah,
it's showing up as Sinisha. I was like, wow, Sinisha would be really good on this team. Like, this team is so good, but that would not be close to possible with the budget. But Rhyperior is really good on this team. Sorry, 1 second.
It does make a lot of sense.
I gotta nuke someone in chat. Bot. Sorry.
Yeah, good job.
But I think, we can kill Mudkip for the sake of... Sorry, Mudkip. But I think Quillfish, great budget pick. I think Lumise fits this team super well. Good shout there. Great shout. Again, Rhyperior and Scizor, I think, are, like, the best, like, fits on this team. Or, like, pieces that, like, you just add them and then the team feels like, oh, yeah. Like, without this team, those mons, like, I don't know, not great. But with these teams, or with these mons, like, yeah, perfect. Galvantula, underrated shout. I feel like every single rain team likes, like, a fast electric type. I don't know why, but, like, Raichu and Jolteon are the obvious ones. But Galvantula, great budget version of that. Having a bug type's kind of nice because you have 2 ground weaknesses. Or 3 ground weaknesses if you count Quillfish.
And the fire weakness isn't real in rain.
Yeah, and that same with Scizor. I think that's why Scizor fits so well. And Scizor can Terra out of it anyways, so it's like, what are we even doing trying to hit it with a fire move? Like,
Mhm.
and that's its only weakness. So, Arch on this team too, because it can't Terra, is really well supported, I think. Illumise, again, just like a great shout on this team. Looking at the type chart, wow, that's really good. You have only weaknesses to rock, and even then, it's like Galvantula is included in that. I guess Galvantula is also the reason. Oh, no, I guess he's neutral to ground, so he doesn't even affect that. So without Galvantula, your type chart would be looking the same anyways. But Galvantula is a solid mon. Speed tiers are really what kill it. No redirection is kind of. Oh yeah, I guess Poltergeist is a good budget pick for redirection, but
Yeah, Rage Powder.
yeah. I think that you have several mons on this team that can be real problems. The main ones are Barracuda, obviously, Arch, obviously, Rhyperior, obviously, and Scizor. I mean, it's very obvious, but those are the problem
Yeah.
mons. Quillfish
4.
can be Quillfish can be a potential problem, but it's not something you have to look out for as much. And like the answers to Quillfish can also be the answers to other things on this team. Illumise is like a pure support mon, and it's great at it. Pelipper, amazing rain, like the best rain setter, definitely better than Politoed, but it gets Tailwind as well, which is nice because that actually, I want to say that having Illumise is so good because you don't need Pelipper for Tailwind. Because Pelipper, the problem is it's 65 base speed, so it's not great for like setting Tailwind. Like it's okay, it is decently bulky, but it also like has that 4 times weakness to electric, and it's not very specially bulky, and its HP is not great. So it's like a lot of the time you don't want it to be this Tailwind setter, or you have to run Sash on it or something. But having Illumise to do that job for you is really great. Scizor is a real certified demon. Yeah,
Galvantula can do that job too with Electro Web, and it's decently fast.
that's true. Yeah. I also think it is really underrated having 2 mons that can ignore redirection, just because like that means bringing redirection versus your team is just like not nearly as good, and that kind of sucks because you have so many hard hitters. You have Wide Guard from Pelipper, which I like, and yeah, I think it's hard to think of like a clear weakness to this team. I think the speed tiers are very exploitable, but you have Barracuda who just kind of ignore, like Barracuda is just so fast that like you kind of can't outspeed it a lot of the time. I will say, Illumise is nice to have a manual Rain Dance user, but against teams that also have a manual Sun user, maybe it's not as good. Like if you have something that's just fast with Sunny Day, or something that's slower than Illumise, like Grimmsnarl. I guess Grimmsnarl doesn't get weather, but like Sableye, I guess, or like Meowstic, or Volbeat, or like anything that has Prankster, Sunny Day that can kind of, or Klefki, like anything like that would be maybe a little bit of a problem.
Murkrow?
Murkrow, yeah. Murkrow actually, yeah, especially because it can't be taunted. So same with
Murkrow is faster actually. It's 91, but yeah.
Yeah, but then you're at a point where you're like, do you run min speed Illumise to like to deal with that? I don't know. Like there's a little bit of mind game there, but overall I think it's a good team. I think opposing weathers are probably the biggest problem for this team. But it kind of depends. Out of position, this team can be a little problem, but
Yeah.
it also doesn't really need rain. Like as long as you don't have to deal with an opposing weather, this team will probably be pretty good. And if you can get up rain, especially like, and your
You don't
opponent
think
doesn't
it
have a way
needs
to stop it, huh?
You don't think he needs rain?
I don't think really. I think you have. I think this team is pretty rain reliant, but like it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like you can run Arch sets without it. You can run Scizor without it. But yeah, actually, the more I think about it, it is a little bit rain reliant.
It is pretty rain reliant.
And that's why I
And
think
pretty
opposing weather.
Terra reliant, especially on Rhyperior.
And
if you
Arch
wanna
can't
bring
Terra
Rhyperior
too.
in rain.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and Arch can Terra.
needing to Terra on somewhat Scizor and Rhyperior, and then like having Terra Water is a huge damage boost for like Barraskewda, but
Also for Garvantula, because its special attack isn't that high.
yeah, that's true.
Little
It-
Thunder
it-
hits very hard. 97 isn't all that much.
Yeah. Physical special split is okay. You have Arch as the main special threat. Barraskewda and Pelipper are not nearly as threatening on the sorry, Barraskewda, Galvantula and Pelipper are not nearly as threatening on the special side, but Pelipper with like Hurricane and Weather Ball as stab, like yeah, it is. So it's mainly Arch and Pelipper that are special mons. Everything else is kind of physical. I guess Poltergeist maybe counts as a special attacker, but I don't know. I think this is a weird team to like rank just because it feels like I don't know. The speed tiers are kind of clustered, but it also doesn't matter as much. You have priority. You have kind of redirection. You have a lot of good things. You don't have fake out, I guess.
Yeah.
You have Intimidate if you want on Quillfish instead of like Swift Swim, but it's also Quillfish, so like Quillfish as that budget pick is mainly used as a Swift Swim user, but it can run Eviolite too, which is kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, it can also be an Intimidator.
Yeah.
If you like.
Um,
I think this team has the highest potential we've seen for now.
probably
But if
the
it
highest.
gets out of position, it could be one of the worst too.
I think even out of position, this team is like okay. It's still not very good. It does really kind of need to be in position, but again, that position is being in position for this team is just like being in rain or like maybe like being in tailwind. Like I don't know. I feel like this team can get into position way easier than a lot of teams, but out of position, it's bad. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, out of position is the worst team we're seeing, but in position is the best.
Yeah, I think because though it is like a little bit more reliant on that, I would probably put it below Spam's team. I don't know.
See that.
It's near Spam, Nick, Alberto. Like it's near these three. But
I think it's below Spam.
yeah, whether or not it's above Nick, I think Nick's team just has so many threats, but this team is just better all around, probably.
I agree.
So I kind
I
of
think
like
this team
it
is better than Nick's.
more than Nick's team, yeah. So I think we should probably put it there. TBL thoughts?
Well, I'm happy with that placement. now we know I'm not the best VGC player, so I'll probably disappoint, but
It's just
I tried.
ranking the teams. Don't worry, Spam wouldn't be this high if he if it were coaches in consideration too.
that's fair.
Sorry, Spam, but you know, I mean, he said it himself. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good spot for it. And then let's move on to the second to last, or this is the last team in the first half, right? We have Salient's team. Very interesting team. I think the Tyranitar, Excadrill, Houndstone is like very obvious synergy there, right? I didn't realize the speed tiers were like this, but like, wow. Everything is between 60 and 95 pretty much, with Gothorita being the exception, but Gothorita is only there as like a Frisk, maybe Shadow Tag, maybe like option.
I think you can take it out.
Yeah, we'll take out Cumby and Gothorita.
Gothorita is here for force spam, I think.
What'd you say?
Gothorita is here to spam expanding force, I think.
Braviary? Or Gothorita?
Gothorita.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it can, but it's not a super strong special attacker. Shiny Braviary looks so sick, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah, I
realize
was gonna say that.
I didn't realize it looked
But its
that
forehead's
cool.
kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's okay. But I think Braviary is a little bit weird on this team because it's your one Tailwind setter and it's 65 base speed. It's also not super bulky, and it needs to Terra if you want to be able to click Expanding Force with it because it's currently not grounded, meaning it's not affected by Psychic Terrain, meaning Expanding Force is the normal move, like the 80 base power, not 120 base power, only hits one target instead of two. So it's way worse on Braviary Hisui than it is on most things, right? That's why people were complaining about Delphox Levitate, Mega Delphox with Levitate. But with that being said, here you can Terra, so like that is less of a problem. But X-Control also can't Terra, which is important to note because it is your one of two sand abusers on this team. I think there's a little bit of like weird decision making here. Excadrill is a great partner with these two mons, the flying and the levitate, but like I feel like Indeedee's generally standalone. Like Indeedee male is way better at being standalone than Indeedee female. Don't get me wrong. And it's still a great mon. It can run fake out if it's not running Psychic Terrain or into like flying types. It has really strong E-Force. You have redirection from Pachirisu, which I like. You have Houndstone, who can run Fluffy instead of Sand Rush if you want. Tyranitar can Terra, which is big for it because last season I think it could Terra too, but indeed he now can as well. I think Rotom Heat is a good glue piece on this team. But that being said, it's like a sand team, but like you want to run sand every game because you have a lot of investment into it with these in terms of your two good mons having sand. But like I feel like that's it. You have Houndstone, who without Fluffy is like not very bulky, not hitting super hard unless it's running like Band. Decidueye Hisui is like good if you can get speed control for it, which you kind of can't here. Like you have Electroweb as your best speed control or slow Tailwind, but no Trick Room because Indeedee Male doesn't get it, and your team is just like really awkward speed tiers. Every single mon being 95 to 60 speed is just not good because that means you don't have any fast mons and you don't have a fast Tailwind setter or fast speed control, and you have no Trick Room abusers. So like you can lose to Trick Room and to Tailwind, which is not good because like those are the two best speed control options. You lose to both of them. The only real speed control you have is Sand Rush on two of your mons, which is like a rain team not having tail. Like imagine TBL's team, but without Illumise or like, and Pelipper was the only setter of Tailwind. Like that, I would really hurt it. And he didn't have any slow mons for Trick Room. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's not ideal to be in that situation. I think the type chart also is like not great. Like, in terms of types you're good against and weak to, it's like you have one ice resist for your two weaknesses. You have two resistances to fire for your three weaknesses, and you have one resistance to water for your three weaknesses. So against rain teams or sun teams kind of, but especially rain teams, I feel like this, if you can't get your weather up, you're kind of cooked. And it's so much easier to get up rain or sun because Prankster, right, especially, but like, or like Prankster, rain or sun users, or even just like Torkoal is slower than Tyranitar. If you can outplay them with your Politoed or your, I guess Politoed is also slower, but if you play with your Pelipper, I think it's very easy for a rain or sun team, or even a team with like just a set or like anyone who can set rain or sun would want to do it into this team and would benefit a lot from it, especially rain, and that's a pretty glaring weakness to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being a counterable weather team sucks. Like, especially when your only speed control is the weather. So.
Yeah, and I mean even against snow teams, like you have two ice weaknesses, one resist, so like you're kind of bad into every weather other than sand. And
yeah, this type chart is really bad too because it's weak to the three of the most common attacking types.
Yeah.
And they are all elemental.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like
the
the
sun,
one mon that resists water is weak to fire and ice. The mon that resists ice is weak to water.
Yeah.
It's bad.
You're right. Like that is a pretty pretty rough situation for the team to be in. That being said, I think there are a lot of pros. The main pro is Ndidi Mail adds a lot. I think with the psychic terrain. Only problem is you can't abuse it too much. I think Houndstone was a solid pick for this team. I think Pachirisu having a redirector at all is great, even if Pachirisu isn't ideal. Braviary Hisui has a lot of potential. Decidueye Hisui can hit pretty hard if you can get it in position, but I think the problem with this team is getting in position is just so hard. What even is position for this team? Tailwind with Braviary Hisui, which is really hard to set up. Is it just getting up sand, which is again hard to maintain? What does it mean to be in position for this team? There's not as much of an answer. I guess it would be sand, is the answer. But again, there's just a lot of ways to deal with just sand. So I think for that reason, this team will struggle more, kind of inherently. It feels whereas some of the other teams have kind of a natural synergy or a natural balance to them, this team feels naturally imbalanced in the sense you have psychic terrain with one kind of abuser, you have sand with 1.5 abusers, besides the setter itself. You have follow me, but not a ton of mons that benefit from it. And then I think Decidueye Hisui just doesn't really add that much. So I don't know. I don't think this is a very inherently threatening team. I mean, in practice, if you can let, or if you can have Excadrill T-Tar be really scary, then yeah. Or if you can Terra with between Braviary and DD Mail, yeah, for sure. If you can Disquake with Rodom and Excadrill, yeah. I mean, there's ways this team can be scary for sure. Don't get me wrong, but they're very straightforward. You know what the threats on this team are. You know how to get this team out of position very easily, and then once that happens, it's you are at the advantage against this team. So for that reason, I'm thinking closer to Soup and Shanji.
Yeah.
I think below Shanji.
I would say below
Pushing them
Soup
both.
for sure. I think comparing the two teams, I think without Milotic, Saline would be better. But Milotic adds so much to their team. And Saline team, I don't know. I am a little inclined towards Saline team because it feels like it has a better game plan, but it's just so easy to stop the game plan.
It has a direction at least.
Yeah.
But what does this redirection really help? Pachirisu is dying in a single hit. And it has Volt Absorb. It's the main reason to use exactly Pachirisu. But Volt Absorb doesn't help with anything.
The main reason to use it is just because it's a cheap redirector, honestly. In draft is the only reason to use it. The only reason it won people joke about it winning a world championship, but that was because there were just no good follow me. I mean, there were not a lot of great follow me options at the time. And I think that was before Eviolite was a thing too. But, anyways, actually maybe it wasn't, but either way, Pachirisu is just, yeah, he's kind of a mid redirector, so I would be fine putting this team below. But what do you guys think?
Below for sure.
Yeah. I can see both. If you both agree to put it below, that wouldn't shock me.
Okay. Not Nick. Sorry, who were you talking about? Saline.
Capital S's.
I don't think capital matters, but yeah.
He just doesn't have his team info.
Oh, he doesn't have team
okay.
info. Oh, gotcha. Well, yeah, he's here. That's a good reminder for him to get that done. Also, Spam, you'll be able to watch the VOD. Don't worry. So moving on to the next team, we have Wa. A little sneaky little Rowlet down there. We can get rid of that, but
Or Rowlet.
sorry, Rowlet. But we have another rain team. Wow, big jump here, right? We have a lot of Mons in this range. 5 Mons in the range of in a range of 10 speed, right? So that's like not a huge range, but Raj is a great Trick Room Mon to pair with. I didn't realize Plyto was base 70. I thought it was 60.
Yeah, it's somehow faster than Pelipper, right?
What? Huh. How did I never know that? But I think Basque Legion on this team is just like so unstoppable. Like he's just so good. And in adaptability or Swift Swim, right? Modes, super scary. Kilowattrel, great tailwind setter for this team. I think fits really well. Sinistra, great redirector, is going to be putting in a lot of work on this team for sure. Polytoad just as a range setter is good, just because they have it's one of 2 viable range. I mean, there's only 2 range setters, but it just having it is good. Passimian, I think, is a good budget pick. I think Raj is a great budget pick. I love Raj. And then I think Persian is like solid. Not ideal, but it has fake out and actually can hit kind of hard with technician if it wants, right? With stab, technician, fake out. That's not super common, but it hits, or like on Pokemon to have stab and technician for fake out, but it can do a decent bit of damage with that and like double edge or like any normal moves. Also gets knockoff, maybe gets snarl. I know the Alolan ones do. But Florges, I think, is a great special wall for this team. Kind of fits on rain teams generally. I don't know why, but like there's some mons that like just kind of fit on rain teams or sun teams, and maybe there's not a great reason why, but or maybe there is, but like I feel like Florges just fits on rain teams pretty well. I think Crook is just a monster if you can get it to be, right? Like it can hit really hard, and you have a great Disquake user with it, right? Of Kilowattrel. Yeah. You have a great redirector for it, and so like in Tailwind too. I think these 2 could be a real problem, especially. But looking at the type chart, wow, one weakness, and it's Teferi, which is not great, but it's not bad. Otherwise, like ground kind of.
And
like,
it's Passimian.
Yeah, it's Passimian that dies to mostly anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think this team is really good in most types. I mean, it's very balanced all around. And also the fact that you have 5 types that you're not good into is really good. Like, only 5 types you're not good into. It's like neutral into 4 or weak to 1. That's way better than, like, being neutral into every type, right? Or, like, and having no weaknesses or whatever.
Yeah. Also, can I just say how hard it is to make a rain team with a decent type chart, and both Y and TBL were able to do so.
That is true. Yeah, Y and TBL are kind of cracked for that. But also, you have 2 water mons, right? Which is crazy, because like a lot of rain teams like stacking up on rain abusers. This team, like Sinistra, benefits from not having the fire weakness. Kilowattrel generally benefits because Hurricane and Thunder, right? And then, obviously, Basque benefits, but you don't have a whole lot of rain abusers, so, like, this team is very much a rain team, but also, like, very much is good outside of rain. Like, TBL's team is very rain reliant. This team is way less rain reliant.
Yeah.
It definitely likes rain, but it's not reliant on it.
Even Basque isn't that reliant. It can run choice scarf adaptability.
Yeah, like Basque has so many. Like Basque always has like the same things, but it can do so many. Has so much variance within those few options. Like it can run band or scarf, or like life orb is kind of like band, or like maybe sash. Like it always kind of runs those things. Maybe like citrus berry, maybe like mystic water. Like I don't know. Like there's other options for it, but like that's mainly what it runs. Always runs either adaptability or swift swim. But in just those options, it it's so different. Like Swift Swim or Scarf like makes a huge difference, right? Like having those things would make a big difference, or Band or Adaptability. Like you just do so much more damage. Like you can choose to be way faster or do way more damage, and like it's really really a problem for that reason. I think with Sinistra as a great redirector and as a mon that can heal it, like even just on switching is kind of nice too. You have fake out support for it. Just I don't think Passimian gets fake out, but it's
No,
I
I
can
don't
check.
think it does.
yeah, I don't think so. But
No, it doesn't.
I think the biggest problem for this team is this probably in the speed department, because you have one Trick Room setter who, or maybe I guess Floor just also gets Trick Room, but I think, but you have Sinistra as your main Trick Room setter for Raj, and like it's only really good into teams that are like going really fast, but you have so much clumped speed tiers that's not great. But you also have Tailwind, so like you have a very fast, good Tailwind. Like you can get up Tailwind a lot of the time, so it's not as much of a problem. You have Swift Swim Bask if you want it. So and you run Scarf on Crook or Passimian or Bask a lot of the time, like on one of those guys, right? So speed isn't as big of a problem as it looks. It definitely looks like a problem to an extent, but it's not that big of a problem. Physical special split, you have your biggest attackers being your physical attackers, right? You have like Raj hits super hard, especially with Sheer Force or Life Orb Sheer Force. Bask, especially with Adaptability. Simeon and Crook and Bask all love running Band too. So like you're mainly a physically attacking team, but Floor just also hits kind of hard. Sinistra, if you're running like a more offensive set, can definitely hit hard. Kilowattrel with Thunder or Hurricane can hit hard. So and then Polytoad's also a special attacker. So you have a lot of options for special attacking. I think this is just a good team all around. Like it's hard to imagine this team not being like good or like solid at least.
Isn't that a pretty low defense to the team?
Oh,
Basically just Sinistra.
That is true. Oh my god, yeah. Passimian is the only in Crook, I guess. Like if you filter by defense, you can see that like these defenses are actually just not good. Like you have 4 mons over 70, and then like 2 mons with like good defense. But like Passimian's just like generally frailer overall, just because like Spadef too. And then Sinistra is gonna have to run bulkier sets a lot of the time, and so
Yeah, Intimidate helps.
yeah,
We
that
can
is
deny
true. You
that.
do have Intimidate, and you do have an Intimidate deterrent with Passimian, which I like. And Kilowattrel, like it, yeah, too. Which could make Kilowattrel even stronger.
Yeah.
But in the bulk department, Florges is a great special wall. Other than that, like Raj is kind of bulky if you want it to be. You're not a super bulky team, but you hit super hard too. So it's like you're okay a lot of the time. And like if Bask can run Sash or can get like a kill or two before dying, that's what it does. Like it's a threat. Like it's always going to be a threat, even if you bring it in the back too, like so that it doesn't matter as much, because while everything's weaker, it can just sweep with Aqua Jet or something like that,
With a redirection beside it.
Yeah, and Sinistra I think fits this team pretty well too. Like Sinistra matches very well. Last season I had Florges and Sinistra and Raj, and I thought they worked together. And I had like a pseudo Rain team too, and I think that felt pretty good having those options. Like Raj really, like, look at the fire weakness like of Raj. It doesn't count Sinistra because it's assuming heat proof because like this will do that for some reason. But you're actually neutral into fire overall, but with the rain you kind of counteract those 2 fire weaknesses. So I think this is a good team, just straight up good team. Hard to very very high ceiling or very high ceiling, but probably this is probably the highest floor we've seen of any team, because it's like, or yeah, probably just because it feels like this team is very easy to use, and you have like a lot of strong mons, a lot of like very straightforward game plan, but you have versatility. Florges is like a ton of versatility. I think Sinistra has a ton of versatility. I think always a guessing game. I think these 3 mons, like, you can run Scarf or Band on any of these mons, and there's always a question of, like, are you running Scarf or Band on them? That's just a constant question that would be in my mind, seeing them across the field for me. So I think this is a really good team. I would be prepared to put it above Spam's team. I don't know what you guys think. I think it's a better Rain team than TBL slightly, just because it's less reliant on Rain,
Yeah.
and because it's like, I don't know. I think TBL's team is a better Rain team, but this is probably a better team. TBL's team is definitely a better Rain team because, like, it benefits more from Rain. You have a better setter of, but I would still probably put Waz's team above Spam's team slightly. I think it's probably Spam's team also has a lot of potential. So, like, if you play Spam's team really well, it's like one of the best teams in the league. But if you don't, I mean, it has a lower floor. I think this team has an insanely high floor too, on top of having a really high ceiling. So, I would put it number 1 right now. But
I agree.
All right, so moving on to the next team, we have Chuckles. Chuckles with with a pretty clear Sunroom team here. Also has Quilava here, who I guess we can nuke for now. Quilava can't really do that much, but wow. This team really wants Trick Room. Really wants Trick Room. Oricorio is the 1 Tailwind setter, and it's the 1 mon over 64 speed. So, like, the only one with, like, any speed whatsoever is Oricorio. But, yeah, that's a little rough. I like Farig on this team. I like Conk generally, but he is a little pricey. Having Fake Out and your opponent not being able to fake you out back is really funny. And you have Intimidate, which I like. Gastro fits well on a Sun team. Only concern is, like, for a Sunroom team, it's very reliant on Trick Room. Like, Blossom is 50 speed. Even if it's in Sun, it's not like Lilligant Isui, who's just, like, super fast. Like, or even Venusaur or Jumpluff. Like, there's a lot of mons that are fast, or, like, kind of fast, or straight up fast, but in Sun, they're just, like, always going to be the fastest thing in the field. Blossom, even in Sun, is, like, probably the fastest thing on the field, right? So, I think I think that definitely hurts it. I think Alolan Golem is, like, a great Trick Room mon, like a great threat in Trick Room, right? But if it wants to go boom, it, like, has to have a Terra Ghost partner, like, just straight up, because otherwise you're just nuking whatever you're next to. Can't click Earthquake except next to kind of Blossom and Oricorio, obviously. And then, like, its electric type moves are, like, it's nice for in terms of coverage, right? I think its coverage is pretty helpful on this team, but other than that, it doesn't fit super well. Alchemy with Decorate is, like, kind of too obvious, because it's like, and Alchemy with Decorate doesn't even matter in a Trick Room, because, like, it's straight up faster than the mons you're decorating. So, which would be Torkoal and Conk, obviously, right? Which are the 2 main, like, hard hitters on this team. So I think this team has a lot. Like, if you took these 3 mons and maybe Conk, but maybe a cheaper mon instead of Conk, and then, like, maybe Scrafty, and then, like, had a different chlorophyll user, a different, like, physical attacker in Trick Room, a different, like, support mon, a different, like, fast option. I feel like the rules aren't bad, but the mons that were chosen make the budget inefficient, I guess. Like, you want a good chlorophyll mon, and you want to invest in it. You want it to be your A or B tier. Like, that's fine. It's okay, because you're a Sunroom team. Like, you're going to be benefiting from Sun a lot, And right now, you're a Trick Room team with Torkoal, right?
Mhm.
You're not a Sunroom team, because Sunrooms are like, oh, am I going to go fast? Am I going to go slow? Like, that's always a question. Like, oh, well, what am I going to do? Now, like, I need to get Trick Room up. I have one setter. If I don't get him up with Frigg, it's game over. So, that feels a little hard to manage, hard to use. Looking at the type chart, you got one fairy resist, and it's Torkoal. You got one ground resist, which is Blossom, and one ground immunity. One ice resist, and it's also Torkoal. Gastro is your only answer for rain teams. Yeah, I don't know. Like a pretty empty type chart in a lot of cases. A lot of single type mons, right? Like Alchemy single type, Blossom, Conch, Torkoal. So, I think that the fact that you're just so reliant on Trick Room and Frigg is your only setter makes Frigg's options so limited. We saw last season Soup using Frigg as a special attacker in the first few weeks, like as an attacker first, right? It's just straight up an attacker. It got to like top 5 in MVP the first few weeks, right? Like it was just consistently like top 5 or I think top 5, yeah, in MVP, which is like insane. For like Frigg is mainly a support mon, but also can be a special like a strong attacker. On this team, it is purely a support mon, like only a support mon, which I don't love because that limits its roles and makes it not as worth its value. Alchemy feels like a waste of points because on this team it just doesn't fit super well. Alolan Golem feels like you already have this same like Trick Room attacker role filled by Conch, and Conch was maybe a little bit too expensive. Instead of having like expensive and cheap mon to do that, you could just have like one budget pick. Like even if you just have Alolan Golem, that's kind of fine. Maybe you want something a little bit better, but yeah, I feel like you just kind of this team was a little inefficient with its budget, and because of that, it feels more easily exploitable, and the fact that it's so Trick Room reliant makes its game plan a lot harder to accomplish. Like its game plan, if you get it to work, I mean, great. It's going to be a problem. There's just like every team is going to have an answer for it though, right? Like how is every, like against weather teams, like you have one Sunsetter and it's Torkoal. So if Torkoal's already on the field and weather gets changed, or if there's any any manual setter as opposed to an automatic setter, then like doesn't matter if Torkoal switches in that turn or is on the field or whatever. Like you can just guaranteed get your weather up, right? And if you have a taunt or if you can like knock off and taunt, or like maybe to deal with mental herb or something, I don't know. Like there's a lot of ways in which this can be stopped, and there's no redirection for Frigg either, right? So it feels like this team is missing kind of a lot of those fundamentals, and I'm just a little bit disappointed because this team feels like it has a lot of potential. You have Frigg and Torkoal, like that pair alone could become an amazing team, but it just kind of didn't go in that direction, and it didn't pan out super well. I think Gastro was a great pick. I think Oricorio Pom-Pom's, pretty solid budget pick. Kind of. Maybe not on this team, but I think it is a solid budget pick. Alchemy is a solid budget pick. Alolan Golem's a solid budget pick. Blossom kind of. Scrafty, is a pretty decent mon too. Like you have a lot of like good mons, but I just don't think the synergy's there. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
No, I
agree.
agree.
I think just sorry, go ahead.
No,
Yeah, just the same thing at the same time.
Having Fire Giraffe as the only Trick Room while you're so reliant on Trick Room and nobody to support Fire Giraffe into putting the Trick Room
Yeah.
means you.
It's so isolated in doing that. It's rough.
Yeah. I was gonna say that even just a single redirection would have helped, so you could at least redirect a taunt or something like that.
Yeah.
Not in prison, but yeah.
Like even if you have some, Imprison too is brutal for this team. Like Imprison.
Oh yeah, Imprison shuts down the whole team.
Because if Trick Room doesn't go up, it's kind of game over. And like there's just too many ways to prevent Trick Room. Like you would.
Yeah, you might not even need Imprison. You can just set Trick Room on the same turn.
Yeah, like
Farriga and
double
Torkoal
Trick Room, taunt, or like maybe to guarantee it, like knockoff taunt or double taunt, imprison. Like there's just like any way to deny Trick Room wins you the game pretty much, as long as you play like okay. You don't even need to play well after that point, and that is an inherent team flaw. So it's like it feels like this team has probably the lowest ceiling out of any team, or the lowest floor. Yeah. A low ceiling too, kind of, just because it feels like so easy to stop that it's hard to, like, theoretically has a high ceiling, but most of the time it's like a fake high ceiling, because most of the time it's not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, because it has a timer.
Yeah.
4-turn timer.
And even then, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, something you said earlier, that Golem needs a normal type, a ghost type beside it to explode.
Sorry, it's electric, yeah. You need a ground.
Yeah, it needs a Gastrodon is fine.
Yeah, that is true.
The governance.
I forgot about that, yeah. Also, looking at the type chart, I will say that you kind of have like 2 strong physical attackers and like another decent one with Crafty. Then kind of everyone else is a special attacker, and none of them are particularly strong. Because Farig is your only strong special. I guess Alchemy is also 110, but like Alchemy and Frigg are support mons first on this team, especially Frigg, right? Has to kind of be a support mon on this team.
Yeah.
So Torgal's like the main like star of the show with like dealing damage, but even then it's like, I don't know. I think this team is just kind of had a lot of potential at early in the draft, and then kind of went in the wrong direction maybe. But definitely can be saved, but I think it needs free agency to be saved, and that's not something we should really take into consideration. Like, oh, just because a team can be saved doesn't mean that's where the team is at right now. So
it needs redirection. It needs someone for the real sun mod.
Yeah. So
some way to be fast. Choreo is it the best?
Yeah. I think because the team is just like, I don't know. Also, just like looking at, let's see you remove Choreo. Look at these speed tiers. Like, that is rough.
Yeah.
I think this team, it's hard to put it above Saline's team or above Shenji's team.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I would probably put
also,
it last.
Not even a prankster in that team.
Yeah, like you have. That's what I was saying. You have 1 Trick Room setter, you have 1 Sun setter, and your goal is Sunroom. And like, you need more support for that. If you want to have a Sunroom team, sure. Sunroom is a great archetype. It's, very straightforward, but it's good. Now
for priority, he only has, Fake Out and Sucker Punch from Scrafty.
He's Mach Punch from
Yeah.
That can hurt, right? I think his priority is okay, but I get what you mean. Like, out of Trick Room, he suffers a lot. And yeah, that priority is not enough to make up for that. So I would put him here. But again, I think this team is very savable. It just needs to do something. If it just stays where it's at, it's not going to be a good team. I'm sorry. Like, no matter how good the coach is, you could have like the best Pokemon player in the world playing this team, and it would be very hard for them to find success still, because
just shut down by Gareth.
It's too easy to shut down. Yeah. So let's look at Charcoal's team now, though. Wow, great type chart. Holy! Oh, that's because he has, he had a Dynamo and Finizen. If you get rid of them, it's not perfect, but
it's still a fairly full type chart.
Yeah, and look how full. Look, like there's just barely any gaps on this part of the board, which I love. I love full type charts. You have 1 fairy type, and it's Whimsicott, who is not a bulky mod at all. So Dragon is a problem, but other than Dragon, you're good into every type pretty much. Flying and ground and ice you are worse into on average, but again, Whim is dying to anything anyway, so the flying and ice are not as important there. Also, I will say Venusaur is actually Oh wait, no, sorry. Thick Fat is only on Mega Venusaur. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ground weakness is not ideal. Bombardier being your one immunity isn't great, and Wind being your only resistance, not great. I will say, flying, Lycanroc is again being one of your two resist is not great. Yeah, I think the type chart is pretty good though overall, pretty decent. I think one thing to look at too with this. Oh yeah, I forgot Tauros doesn't show up on here. I had Tauros last season, so I would know. But Whimsicott Tailwind here helps a lot of this team, but you have a lot of fast mons, right? Everything besides these bottom two mons are really good in Tailwind. Even actually both these mons do benefit from Tailwind because 60 speed is not slow. It's 60 is I feel the base speed, and then if you're slower than 60, then you're a good mon in Trick Room. If you're faster than 60, then you may be a little bit awkward, but once you get to above 80, then you're a little faster.
Yeah.
And the 180's speed mon has chlorophyll, right? So you have that, plus Typh is just a huge problem on this team. Typhlosion Nisui can be a problem with Scarf outside of Whimsicott. So Whimsicott can just click Sunny Day next to Typh with Scarf, or you could run Specs Tailwind. There's a lot of ways where Typh could be a real problem on this team. I think that Tauros is a great pick on this team. Fits pretty well. Lycanroc Dusk is a great budget pick on this team. Great priority especially, but having the priority of Aqua Jet and Accelerock is nice. It's Tough Claws, so it just does a lot of damage pretty much as a physical attacker, which is good because between those two mons, those are your only real physical attackers. But Bombardier also has some solid options, and it has a third stab with Rocky Payload, which I think is pretty cool. And it is a Tailwind setter besides Whimsicott, just in case you want a slower, slightly bulkier option. Not a bad budget pick by any means. I think Hisuian Gudra on this team, I feel Hisuian Gudra prefers Rain for sure to Sun, but it's not bad in Sun. Also does get Weather Ball, which is nice. Has a lot of good options though. I like them on a lot, but that being your one Trick Room abuser with Oranguru as your setter is your Trick Room mode is a little fake. And against any actual Trick Room team, they're probably gonna have slower mons than you. So not super great. I think Oranguru is mainly paired with Instruct, right? The Instruct is the reason you draft Oranguru, and Eruption is the obvious answer, but you have a lot of things you can instruct that would be good for you on this team. You have Sleep, which is always fun. Which actually this is the first actual Sleep Powder mon we've seen, right?
I have it on Vivian.
Oh yeah, Vivian. Yeah, of course. And you have actually accurate Sleep on your team too with
Yeah.
Compound Eyes. Yeah, I think this team is. I don't know. There's a few inherent problems. One of which is this team feels like it wants to be a Sun team, but we have one Sunsetter, and that's Prankster Whimsicott, right? Feels like it wants to benefit from Tailwind, but you're also already outspeed a lot of things. So against opposing Tailwind teams, it's great because you have the fastest Prankster Tailwind user. You have you have Taunt on Whimsicott. You have Encore. I think Whimsicott, is a great support mon. Probably one of the best, if not the best, fast support mon in the game. And the only issue is the Trick Room side of things is not great. Type chart again, even though it's great in a lot of ways, those weaknesses are a little bit of problems.
Yeah, the ground weakness especially. I don't like the ground weakness. The only two is being Bombardier and Whimsicott that doesn't take anything.
Yeah, the ground that is a problem for sure. And I think the best way to answer a lot of these problems is with Terras, and it's who do you want to Terra on this team? The answer is definitely Hisuian Gudra, and then kind of Venusaur, kind of Tauros. If you do it for Lycanroc or whatchamacallit, or Typhlosion is like kind of offensive, like Terras, to make them the same type.
Yeah.
Like Bombirdier maybe, and then like maybe like Terra Ghost or Dark on like a Rangaroo, maybe like Terra Steel on Whimsicott, but like the Terras are like a little weird. I feel like you don't capitalize on Terra as much. So you just kind of increase what you already do with Terra. But it's good because you have less Terra reliance, I guess. So yeah, I think this team is also like a little weird to rank, just like in terms of where we put it. I don't know.
One thing to keep in mind is that I don't think this team is as weak to Trick Room as we think, because Oranguru gets imprisoned.
That is true. But
So it's a pretty good way to counter Trick Room.
But I mean, on the bulk side, it's like it is like a solid mon with bulk, but you have no redirection for it too.
Yeah, true.
So, and the lack of redirection is a little upsetting on this team, because I feel like if you have some of these mons would just really like it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, if you were able to get like a decent redirector, the problem is, honestly, there's a lot of expensive redirection options, and then anything that isn't expensive is just not very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's because redirection is so valuable. And so I think, this team would maybe like a Rage Powder user, but, or like, something like that could fulfill that role. I think Jump Luff, maybe potentially is an option, but like, even then it's like,
Who you cutting for it?
yeah, I don't know. I think this team is definitely good, but it's not great, I guess. I think it has a lot of potential for sure, but
Yeah, Whimsicott also feels a bit like it has too much to do.
yeah,
Supposed to
it
set
does want to
Sun,
be clicking a lot of moves.
Tailwind.
And you can't click Tailwind and Sun on the same turn.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like,
But
But still, this team is towards the top of the table.
I think definitely worse than WoD, definitely worse than Spam, worse than TBL, probably worse than Nick. Here's like where we get like a little more friction here, but like definitely not top 3 right now.
I think above Nick, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I
I'd say below.
I think,
Nick has some menace on his team.
yeah, I think this team is very easy to get in a weird spot, and then once it's in a weird spot, it's like, what do you do? You know?
That's fair.
I would probably compare it to Alberto's team. I would say it's probably above or below Alberto's team, maybe like near Soup, like maybe above Alberto's Soup's team, but like I kind of like Charcoal's team a little bit more, but it's hard to say. Who do you have on your team again, Alberto?
Dragapult, Incineroar,
Dragon.
Yeah, that team.
Gardevoir.
I think they're pretty comparable teams, but I don't know. Maybe I do like your team a little bit more, Alberto.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
am kind of
like
biased
it.
because it's my team.
Yeah.
But
Alberto has a major advantage in having 10 months. Like,
That is true. I think only 8 mons on this team and having 2 of those be like okay, that don't like super. I think this team just doesn't fit or mesh super well together, too. So, I would probably put it 1 below Alberto. I think it's probably slightly better than Soup's team. Probably slightly better.
yeah, I agree.
He also doesn't have team info.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So let's move on to my team. If one of you guys wants to lead the talking, that'd be great, because I'm very biased. Also, Cubchoo has Slush Rush, but other than that,
Yeah,
It's,
you can remove him.
Yeah.
all right.
Do you want to
guys-
lead, TBL?
You probably know more VGC than I do, so
Okay. Yeah, so from what I see, this is a pretty clear snow team, but it's not super reliant on snow. So we have a good speed tiers here, a pretty fast Talonflame, not much can outspeed Talonflame, and also a pretty decent Trick Room mode with Slowking and Bellybolt, even Orthworm can be decent in Trick Room. I also see a lot of pretty hard hitters in this team. A great shout out to Heracross, to Talonflame, oh, not Talonflame, Garchomp, Porygon, it's a Titan.
And
think,
I mean,
Miguel?
you can looking at these stats doesn't tell the full picture because we have adaptability on Porygon, sheer force on Titan, guts on Heracross. So
Yeah, Slush Rush on Titan
Yeah.
2 for the speed.
Yeah, just
no,
135
it's really
on Porygon is enough, plus adaptability. It's a nuke.
I could even see a Titan being played in Trick Room to complement the Trick Room team.
Yeah,
The Trick
Titan
Room mod.
is great because it has 3 great abilities, and almost all of them can be run every week.
that's why I have been saying for a while. Like I've had it at 15 points last season too, and I've been saying that it's very underrated, and it's at 15 points for a reason. Even though it seems maybe a little high for it, but I decided to finally back it up, and I think mons like Arcaludon or Satitan that have 3 amazing abilities really just have so much more potential. That's something we've got to talk about with TBL's team as well. We can see it is currently 3rd, but Arcaludon is a body press band, complex band, so it can't click body press, but it does still have the ability to run stamina or sturdy or stalwart. So that's just something to keep in mind with his team.
Yeah,
but,
even sturdy if you know you might get one shot.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
mons that
Slowking
have
does have
really
chilly
useful
reception.
abilities.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said no, mons that have plenty abilities that are actually usable are always a pain in draft because you
Yeah.
don't know what's coming.
I love mons with like multiple good abilities. Here it's mainly just Titan with multiple good abilities, but Slowking also could, run Oblivious or Regenerator. Porygon could theoretically
Heracross.
run something other. Yeah, Heracross could run maybe Swarm,
Moxie,
but probably Moxie.
that's-
Yeah. Garchomp into a opposing Sand team maybe could run Sand Veil.
Mhm.
Actually, when the reason I drafted Garchomp before Alolan Ninetales was because I wanted to I was like maybe there's a chance that between Tyranitar and Alolan Ninetales one of the two gets taken, and if I take Garchomp I can go either direction. I wanted to go Snow, but
Yeah.
I was like I could still go T-Tar with Garchomp very easily. And so also one thing to note with the Snow team is that Slowking also does have chilly reception. So while I only have one automatic setter and no manual setter, I mean, I guess I have a manual setter, but no,
Yeah,
there's no
you do.
Prankster
Yeah.
Snowscape setter besides Tornadus, which obviously is not legal. I have Slowking with chilly reception, not as great because it's obviously very slow, and so my opponent can change the weather for the entire turn, and then I only change it back at the end of the turn, which they can reset at the start of the turn. But it's just something to consider. It is another snow
Yeah.
setter.
But the thing is, this team is not reliable on snow to function. Not just because the Titan has another 2 good abilities, but also the other Pokemon that really likes snow is Porygon Z to Terra Ice Blizzard. And it can do a lot of other stuff as well. It has great coverage, and it also has a different great partner in Talonflame to function in Trick Room, or in Tailwind, I mean.
That is true. I forgot that
And
Porygon could set Trick Room, but it's not going to do that very often, but it can, I guess.
oh yeah, I meant it pairs with Talonflame in
Yeah,
Tailwind.
yeah.
Yeah. Another great partner for Talonflame is of course Garchomp, because it can set Tailwind and click Earthquake for free.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there is one other ground immunity in Orthworm who is
Orthworm.
a little bit harder to bring. Having 2 ground immunities is nice. You can look at the type chart and see that actually, one note is that it's a very empty type chart overall, which is not great, honestly. Like against water, like even though I'm like good into like every type pretty much besides rock, it's pretty empty. So that is definitely something that takes away from the team. But with ground especially, I have 1 resist, 2 immunities, and only 1 weakness, and that's belly bolt. So I can be clicking earthquake, a decent bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You're good against ground. That's you won't have any issue with that.
For sure. And also, the rock weakness isn't really real.
I am.
Your best Pokemon, Garchomp, doesn't take much from Rock Slide, the most common rock move.
And Titan is probably my most common Terra target, besides Porygon as well. But Titan, Garchomp, I guess, because Garchomp and Alolan Ninetales do have 4 times weaknesses, and I will say my team loves Terra. I have, like, you can see the 4 time. I have 3 or 4, I guess, 4 times weaknesses on this team. All these mons just like benefit from Terra, which is good, but also bad because you only get 1 Terra per game, obviously. So.
But both Ninetales and Talonflame, once they hit the field and do their thing, they can go out and make plays for the rest of the team to sweep.
I will also say that both of these mons are mons that like kind of want Sash, but also with Ninetales you're running Covert Cloak maybe 2 or Light Clay maybe 2 instead of Sash, right? With Talonflame you're running Covert Cloak a lot of the time as well over Sash, so.
Yeah, I know this a lot because I had 4 of these Pokemon the last season.
You had
3.5 because Talonflame, Alolan Ninetales, Porygon, and I had Glowking instead of regular.
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that
I just copied what you did and did it slightly differently.
yeah. These are just copying the other.
I also figured that being named Blizzard, I wanted to have a snow team at one point so I could Blizzard fam. Obviously, this team is not like as hard of a snow team, but I think I do have a Titan who is like the biggest snow abuser. If you think about clicking Blizzard, I have Alolan Ninetales, I have Porygon Z, I have Slowking. So I have 3 mons who can Blizzard spam. It's obviously definitely not my main strategy, but I can, go for it. And Titan also has ice moves, so it's definitely a snow team, but it's a snow team in the way that Waz team is a rain team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like TBL's team is a rain team. Like this is like a snow team, but there's also other options to it. I will say some of these mons like might be hard to use, like Heracross outside of Tailwind, or if my opponent also has like Tailwind, it's like if it doesn't have speed control, it can't really do its job as well, just because it can be more frail, or you might have to Terra it. Belly Bolt outside of Trick Room is like kind of what are we doing? Like he's just like not great a lot of the time, but he is pretty bulky too, has a lot of options. Orthworm has Shed Tail, something to consider. But also no redirection on the team is a little unfortunate. Not that the team would really benefit from it, but there are definitely individual mons that would really benefit from it.
Mainly Porygon.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Those were the 2 I was thinking actually as well. But yeah, you guys can kind of decide where you think it shapes up.
Definitely on the top.
Yeah, I exactly. Think below above spam.
That was my immediate thought as well. But what were you saying?
No, I would have said roughly the same. So
I think compared to Waz's team, his team is just like so well rounded. I think my team is pretty well rounded. I mean, looking at it, especially looking at the type chart, I think it's a pretty well rounded team. But the type chart is pretty empty. How I compare to opposing weathers, especially, is like not phenomenal. Like against a team that can set rain or sun again. I mean, I'm good into sand teams, I guess, but like I think like rain and sun are real problems for my team, I think. Looking at the type chart, you can see that I'm neutral into rain and sun, but also this Titan should be weak to fire. This is assuming thick fat Titan, right? So basically, I have 4 weaknesses to fire and 3 resists. I have one resistance to water and 1 weakness, which is like not great. So I don't match up super well in opposing weathers, and that's definitely a concern because there are multiple. I mean, like teams do like running weather, even if they aren't dedicated weather teams, and there are several dedicated weather teams. So
Yeah, and we also saw both Volbeat and Illumise that are pretty common weather setters outside of regular weather.
yeah, I think
So it's annoying.
and I think not having like there's just straight up not a prankster snowscape user, and I think that gives my team even if I like even if there was one I didn't have it, like just not having it as an option is a little rough for my team. So I think
Also, I feel like this team is a bit reliant on speed control. Basically, tailwind. I know Talonflame can almost always guarantee the tailwind. Well, in the cases that it can't, this team
Well,
might struggle a bit.
and if it even if it runs covert cloak, that means it even it gets fake out still and like loses its priority on
Priority.
tailwind. So because it needs to get full HP for goings to activate, which
Yeah,
is new as of like Gen 7, so like not really new, but it's the fact that that exists means that it's much harder for me to get up tailwind. My team loves tailwind, as you said, but it's harder for it to get up. My only really fast mon besides Talonflame too is to Titan with Slush Rush, which again is relying on weather.
yeah.
So I would be comfortable putting this team. I think definitely below Y. I think that's definitely reasonable. I think probably above Spam, but and TBL,
agree,
but
I
that's up to
agree.
you
Yeah,
guys
I'd say
again.
it's
Okay.
it's
All right. I think the board's looking pretty solid so far. Just kind of glancing at it, but oh, he just doesn't have a team. Okay, there we go. Wow, look at these
Like
three
a
tiers
once again,
again.
yeah.
Like kind of crazy, like a Chuckles team almost, but.
Another hard trick room team.
Yeah, you have 3 mons that are faster than 50 speed. That's
50.
crazy. One of them's Tinkaton
Yeah.
with Thunder Wave, so that kind of helps. You have Tailwind on Gligar, pretty solid budget Tailwind user, honestly. And then you have Redirection from Magmortar. So, I mean, you have, all these mons are good mons, for sure. Venonat also has Redirection with Rage Powder. I think he has
Yep.
almost 10 real mons. Like, I think Gligar and
It is
Venonat
real, for sure.
are definitely, like, solid options. I
That'll
think
be good.
Lurantis doesn't add a ton because you have Hydrapple, but it's still like a great trick room mon, and also I guess fighting coverage is quite nice because like Scraggy is not a great user of fighting moves. You have 3 fairy types, which is a lot. 2 grass types, like you are doubling up on quite a few types. You have also the fact that both of these share the poison and steel weakness. I imagine this team is generally weak to those types. Ursaluna has to rely. Actually, this team in general has to rely on Hatterene to set Trick Room, which is very much possible because you have Clefairy, and you have Fake Out from 2 options, Redirection right from Venonat technically, but still you kind of like. Ursaluna loves Trick Room. Hydrapple loves Trick Room. You can look at here and see this is definitely a Trick Room team. But Hatterene's your one setter, and Hatterene doesn't love being a support mon. It's fine setting Trick Room, but it wants to be an attacker, right? And yeah, that's a little unfortunate for this team. We can glance down at the type chart. I mean, I think we should probably keep all of these mons in the type chart, but I guess we can just look at it without them just to see if it's any better, and it's not really.
Not good.
Maybe it's really not that much better without them. I think it's just like 4 flying weaknesses, 1 resist, 2 steel weaknesses, 1
that's
resist, 3 fire weaknesses, 1 resist, 3 water weaknesses, 2 resists, 1 4 times. But like you're carrying Hydrapple all the time. So I guess this team is just really bad into every weather besides like sand.
Yeah, like what you said about weather, only 2 Pokemon on this team really likes Terra. Because Ursaluna is Terra banned, I think.
It's actually
just
only
leave-
Terra Ghost is Terra banned on it. So
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so he has 3 targets. Ursaluna, Lurentis, and Hydrapple.
I guess somewhat the redirectors too.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
they,
Magmotor can also be a sweeper. It is decently hard.
yeah, I think Magmortar is actually a pretty solid pickup because it's a cheap redirection mon, and there aren't that many like budget redirection picks. It's not, super cheap, but it's pretty cheap. And it's a good redirect. It has follow me instead of rage powder. It's just a good mon overall, good stats. So like, I think Magmortar is a good pickup. Only thing is just like this team just doesn't have a whole lot of synergy. Like, it's very hard trick room, and then like your options outside of trick room are not great. Speed tiers are just like a bit. I mean, how do you have so many mons with you have 4 mons within 5 points of each other, and that range is from 44 to 48 points? How do you have 4 mons from 44 to 48 points? And like
Yeah, no, that's
7 out of 10 mons are below are 50 speed or below. That's kind of crazy. The type chart's looking pretty rough over. I mean, there's sometimes you're really good into like grass and like you're phenomenal into electric. So sometimes you just kind of can't really do that much into you, right? But that doesn't matter that much, right? Urshaluna's pretty straightforward in its game plan, though. Without Terra Ghost, maybe you can't do that game plan all the time. Lorance is super straightforward. Scraggy pretty straightforward. Clefairy extremely straightforward. So it's a pretty straightforward team, and that option is a little bit more preventable. I like Magic Bounce on Katarine for taunt, and you do have redirection as well. So I think that getting up Trick Room is much easier than on a team like Chuckles. So being so Trick Room reliant isn't as bad, but the fact that you're still so Trick Room reliant isn't great. It's better to be like more Tailwind reliant, or like something that like is easier to set up. If it's like, and like a Tailwind reliant team also can like have speed control, like have speed or like some natural speed to it. This team just has like kind of no speed, and so you need Trick Room. And also, sorry, spam. I've not been reading, but I think yeah, I would probably.
Oh, sorry.
I would probably say that this team has like just too many flaws to really be up there. Looking at this type chart's kind of skewed because of all the. Or sorry, this is kind of skewed because the babies, but like you have 2 strong physical attackers in Laurentis and Ursaluna. And then Magmortar if you want to be physical, but why would you not make him special? Other than that, actually, and Tinkaton as well as a physical attacker, just not a super strong one.
Gigaton Hammer is a thing.
Yeah, Gligar I guess can be.
Nah. Yeah.
But like Magmortar is special, Hydrapple special, Hatterene special. You just don't have like as much.
I will say, outside of Trick Room, this team feels a bit better than Chuckles. Just because Magmortar at least is a threat. You can't just not prepare for a flamethrower or a fire blast.
Yeah. I just think like Magmortar has too many things it wants to be doing. And Hatterene has to be the Trick Room setter when he doesn't really want to be. And
does he have too many things? This team also has 2 other redirections. It doesn't need.
It does have Clefairy for dart. Yeah. I always forget. Yeah,
sorry. On that too.
Yeah. So I guess it doesn't really. Yeah, that is true. But I feel like you just could do a lot more with some of these mons.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'm just trying to make an argument to not put this at the whole bottom.
I wouldn't put it like at the bottom, but I think it's. I mean, it's better than Chuckle's team. I think it's better than Saline's team. I think it's worse than your team. So it's between like Charcoal and Shandy's team.
I think Shandy's team is better.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's above Saline.
At least
to be honest, maybe even below Saline.
Sorry,
because it's not as threatening in Trick Room as some other teams are.
What does Saline team have again?
The same team.
Oh
with
yeah.
Tita, Xka, and,
I guess I
Elise.
do like Salion's team more. I think this yeah. This
Yeah,
team
and
has
Trick Room is more counterable than Send. Send, you can do anything to I don't have the word. Cheetah will come and set the Send. At a ring, you can stop it from setting the
Yeah.
Trick Room. So
I think you can get up Trick Room fairly easily, but even then it's like this team has just too many babies. Like you can't have Clefairy and Venonat and Scraggy and Gligar on a team.
Oh yeah, true.
Like the only like big Pokemon you have are Hatterene, Hydrapple, Magmortar, and Ursaluna. And then you have Tinkaton, who's actually pretty solid, but also like does support as well and doesn't hit as hard. Lurantis needs setup to be dealing damage. Like it needs Trick Room. So
Yeah, for me it's just above Chuckles.
yeah, and the team is so weak to some types.
you said it's just above Charcoals?
Chuckles.
Yeah, just above.
Oh, Chuckles. Oh. I thought you said Charcoals, and I was like, whoa.
Oh no,
Oh,
no, no.
no.
Yeah, I would put it
No,
here
maybe
too.
not.
I would agree. He just doesn't have team info as well. These are the three people without team info, so we can call. So whoops, these three, so we can call them out. And Juan needs his logo TBL.
There. It's coming.
All right, let's look at P4's team. So, wow, 300 speed tier, 3 months at the 100 speed tier. Yeah, very kind of bunched up speed tiers here, like a bunch here, a little bit of a bunch here, definitely a bunch here.
Poliwag.
Yeah, Poliwag, get out of here. Get off my screen, Poliwag. But still kind of bunched up speed tiers. Very much a green and yellow team as well. And then a little bit of purple down here. Or
Yeah,
pink,
at least
I
it's
guess.
shiny.
Yeah.
Shiny Metagross so far.
Yeah. Shiny Slacking is ugly, bro. And I don't love the wheezing. Oh, I don't love the Hitmon. That's got to take away
If
from the
only
team. But oh wow, pretty empty type chart in a lot of places actually too. Like Ghost is a weakness, and you have one immunity of Slacking, who likes Terra as well. So
Yeah.
like Ghost, so that doesn't help. The weathers, like the weather typings, it's like we found a lot of teams that are weak to fire and water, and that we're just not great into fire and water, and that's a little bit of a problem.
concerning.
Fine with me.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only resist water is Water Absorber Vaporeon, which might get shut down because of his own Galarian Wheezing.
Yeah.
That's true. And like, I mean, there are a lot of mons on this team that kind of benefit from their abilities. Like Metagross kind of likes it, just because no Intimidate. Well, there's no Intimidate, I guess, with depending on
Yeah.
if they have Ability Shield or not. But no Flame Body procs, right? No Motor Drive proc or things. You can run Misty Surge with Unburden, but you can't run Neutralizing Gas with Unburden. And then kind of once you lose your item, then it's like if you switch out, then Unburden doesn't happen anymore. So actually, I don't even know if Unburden procs with if you lose your item during Neutralizing Gas. Maybe it does. Either way, it's still, there's still a lot of abilities on this team that, would be kind of nice to have.
I think you do lose your item, but you don't get the speed boost.
Yeah, that's what I would
I
imagine.
think you only get the speed boost once Gizik leave.
No, I don't even know if that's the case though. If you lost your item during, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, I think the only two mons that benefit from losing their, Poltegeist and Vaporeon generally don't care that much. But also, yeah, Spam, he has a clear body. That's why I was talking about with it getting disabled. And that being bad for Metagross. But the only two mons that really care about, or that want to lose their ability, are the two obvious mons that have just horrible abilities. Other than that, it's not great. You can see his team is like on the last team how Voids had a lot of like baby Pokemon. Here you can see these are all like, you know, this is what I mean, as opposed to a team like this where like everything is like fully evolved and like you have a lot of like just good high base stat Pokemon.
Look at this attack, 99.
Yeah, that's very high, and the attack, special attack, and Spadef. I mean, there's just like very high averages on these things, but like Slacking is your one mon without real Spadef or Geezing. Both of them consider running AV, especially Slacking, and like 160 attack from Slacking, 123 from Electivire, 120 for Hitmonlee, 135 for Metagross, and you have priority on Metagross, and you have Fake Out on Hitmonlee, and you have Follow Me on Electivire. I mean, these are all like just good mons generally too. Volcarona is so versatile. It can be a great redirection mon. It can be a great setup sweeper. It can do a lot of things. Toadscroll can have Spore outside of or inside of neutralizing gas, I guess. I don't love how you have 100 as your fastest, especially with your only tailwind being Volcarona. And no Trick Room. I think Poltegeist maybe gets it, but not really that being like that's not a great option. But Poltegeist can be a setup sweeper. Volcarona can be a setup sweeper. Hitmonlee can kind of be a setup sweeper. So you have like that potential as well, and you have a lot of high base damage. If Slacking is just in gas, it's just a straight up demon. Metagross, if it can get like anything set up, it has priority too. Like there's a lot of good options for this team. I think it's just kind of a pretty generally solid team. Again, the type chart being a little bare is probably its biggest concern, but.
Yeah,
What do you guys
I agree.
think?
Yeah, it's weak to pretty much all the weather. It's weak.
I think we're probably kind of thinking in this general range. Like, I don't know where the top of my cursor should be or where the bottom of my cursor should be, but in this general range.
Is it better than charcoal?
I would argue that Charcoal's team feels like there could be more problems with it than this team. I feel like the team is just kind of like there's a lot of good all around. I feel like I would probably put it slightly above Charcoal's team actually.
Yeah, I do agree.
I don't know
Especially
if I
since
like it more than Alberto's.
Wheezing is really painful just for the others too. So.
Yeah, I like your team more. I think Nick and Alberto is the question. It's like probably like Alberto's team slightly more, but
Yeah, me too.
yeah. Okay, we can put it above Charcoal, below Alberto.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, forgot to give him the full name.
Okay.
And finally, we have Evie. Evie has looking at the team, like look at these. This is color coordination. Wow.
This looks nice. I like it.
Very pretty looking team, but yeah, getting rid of I guess we can get rid of Voltorb, even though Voltorb has some uses. Gibble, sorry, but looking at the speed, by far the fastest mon is Sneasler. We have kind of like a big clump between 78 at the highest to 60, and then like Ice Cube, kind of fake 50 speed mon because its other mode is like way faster. I forget exactly what its speed is, but like once it loses its ice face, it can become way faster. Also, kind of what is the direction of this team is my question. You have two Prankster mons, right? Which is kind of
130.
crazy.
Nice face.
It's 130?
Yeah, once.
That's really fast. Wow. I knew it was fast, but dang. So you have two Prankster mons, right? Which is like, okay, that's a little weird to have two, especially like because they both cost a lot. You have Prankster Tailwind, which doesn't help your team a ton. It kind of does, but not like a ton. So you don't have a great abuser of that. Sneasler doesn't have a great way to get Unburdened procced. Klefki and Murkrow both have Weather, but it's like you kind of want Rain for these things, but like you don't really want Sun ever. Wheezing is just bad for your team because like all of your mons like their abilities, just straight up, like, literally all of them besides Swampert, and then like kind of Blastoise doesn't really like care. So these two mons don't really, but like Intimidate is huge, Prankster is super huge, Ice Face matters a lot, Burden matters a lot. So like getting rid of your ability is just not great. Also, Sneasler at 18 points is just not worth the price if you don't have a great Unburden user for it, because Dire Claw is now removed from it, and it's Terra Banned. So it kind of got hurt a lot this season, and if you can't get an easy Unburden proc, probably not worth the 18 points. Klefki and Murkrow, if you don't have a great users for Tailwind with it, and you don't really care about its weather setting that much, it's definitely not worth the price. Klefki, again, if you don't care about Prankster Weather, if you don't... I think, honestly, Klefki is probably the mon to keep out of these two Prankster ones, but, like, I think you could definitely go in any direction. Like, with Murkrow or Klefki and Sneasler, and, like, there's a lot of great directions to go. I like him on top a lot. Blastoise is a great pick in terms of its, like, value. Swampert, is underrated in terms of its damage dealing. Wheezing, yeah, can add a lot. It's hard to prep into. But, like, you kind of you blew your budget on mons that are better situationally. Like, Wheezing plus, like Slacking or, like, Toadscroll. Like, the mons we saw that P4 pair his Wheezing with. I think that makes a lot of sense. But, and it's definitely worth the price of, like, 13 points. Is it worth it on this team? Probably not. Is Sneasler worth the 18 points on this team? Probably not. Is Murkrow worth the 16 points on this team? Probably not. Is Klefki worth the 14 points or 13 points? I think 13 on this, or 14 points on this team? Probably not. Is Swampert worth like the 11 points-ish on this team? Probably not. So it's like, you're not really making a good use of your budget, which in draft is something definitely to consider. And that means you have room for improvement if you're not making good use of your budget, right? There's ways to be more efficient with it. You can see...
the big issue you see here with this team is that it went for 3 completely different directions. The Sneasler one, the Murkrow, and the Wheezing.
Yeah, very true.
They have absolutely no synergy with each other. And they don't have real partners for each other as well.
Yeah,
Murkrow likes a Tailwind Sweeper, which doesn't really exist here. Sneasler likes an Terrain or something to proc Burden, and Wheezing likes to deactivate abilities.
Yeah, and like Spam said in chat, the team has no damage except Sneasler, maybe a bit Swampert too, but even that's not like insane.
You're dealing
The
damage
rest doesn't do
with...
damage.
You're dealing damage with Swampert, obviously Sneasler. Ice Cube has Belly Drum, and then after a Belly Drum it can do damage, but it doesn't have redirection to help it do that. And then special attacking,
you will die too.
you have Blastoise, and then kind of Klefki.
Any special move.
To any priority after a belly drum.
Yeah, that too.
So,
Don't even need
no,
to belly drum, just hit it with a special move.
Yeah. I guess like if you Belly Drum and Citrus and they break Ice Face, then you're fast and super strong.
that's another condition to make Ice Cube work.
Yeah, but like that's the only way Ice Cube work. I just feel like Swampert and Blastoise are more worth their value on rain teams, and Blastoise and Ice Cube are more worth their value on snow teams. Like Ice Cube maybe would be a budget pick for me. Blastoise maybe a budget pick for someone like, or like a solid pick for like TBL or WA. But like other than that, yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely consider Blastoise for my team. I think it would be good on a snow team. But like this is just like, I feel like what are we doing? What's the direction we're supposed to go in? As Alberto said, like multiple different directions. Looking at the type chart, feels pretty plain in a lot of ways. Like way more bare. You have one ghost resist, one dragon immunity. Other than that, nothing on those types. One water
One water
resist,
resist.
one normal resist. Other than that, nothing. You have like
Very weak to psychic.
yeah, you have 3 second weaknesses, 1 immunity, and 1 resist.
Doesn't matter.
And you like also, are you bringing both Klefki and Murkrow? Because you can't bring too many support mons. If you have 2 support mons on the field, it's like Murkrow can do damage with foul play, I guess. Klefki can run Dazzling Gleam, I guess, and you know they can be kind of strong, but not really. So, it feels like what are
No,
like,
the team has no
how does this
damage.
team win a game? Like I don't know what they are. It's not like
Pistol?
it takes a lot of there's no obvious way for this team to win or no like obvious winning strategy for this team, and that's a problem because it requires just like incredible coach play. Like that's what we said about Chuckle's team. Like even with incredible coach play, it's just not great. This team, like even with incredible coach play, like it needs incredible coach play to be a good team. Other than that, it's likely a pretty bad team. And so I think the floor for this team is also pretty low. And honestly, its ceiling is also kind of not super high.
Yeah, I don't see how it kills anyone. Except Sneasler. Nobody on the team can easily kill a huge threat or a huge tank.
Yeah, and Sneasler can Terra. And it has so many weaknesses.
Yeah.
You just bring Psychic and
I mean,
yeah,
Psychic
with
and Flying
half
are
the team
already
will-
weaknesses for this team, and it can't. And that's what those weaknesses for Sneasler too. And Ground, it's the team is neutral. You have 2 immunities, yeah, but one of them is assuming you're running Levitate on Weezing. So
Yeah.
To be fair, you probably
you-
are because you don't want to run the
yeah,
news
honestly,
raising gas.
unless you're, I mean, half the time you probably are running Levitate on this thing. So I feel like it's just not a
And the
great
whole-
use of any of these mons, which is a little
Unless you're
disappointing.
Stench.
But I think this team is like, because it has so many good mons, if you can work out trades, especially, and like, hey, I'll give you like Hitmontop, who's a good mon, or like Klefki, who's a good mon. Like, there's a lot of good mons on this team. Like, maybe give Murkrow to Spam, and Spam would probably pay a decent bid because, like, you know, it might fit his team. Sure, his team's already great, so like maybe he doesn't want to adjust, but like, you should try to make trades with people first, and then if after you can maybe make a trade or two, then go to free agency and see what you can do with this team, because there's a lot of potential here, like a lot of good mons, but a bunch of good mons doesn't make a good team. So
Yeah. I think 2 or 3 traders can really help this team.
yeah, I think it should, this team should only have a handful of free agency moves left by like by the deadline, by the end of the season. Like it should use most of its free agency moves.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure.
So in terms of placement, I think probably below Saline Steam for sure.
Oh yeah. I'm even considering below Checkers, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a bottom 3 team is what I meant.
Yeah.
Whether or not
for me it's dead as what
I think as of right now, it's hard to say. Yeah, like I think Chuckle's team has like a very clear game plan of like, I want to get up Trick Room. If I don't get up Trick Room, I'm kind of screwed. Here, I don't have a clear game plan, so I'm just kind of always screwed. Like, there's no way
yeah,
that
and
this.
you don't have enough damage to deal to kill.
Yeah, like you would need like Band or Specs to be dealing damage on anything besides Sneasler again, but Sneasler is not good as an individual. I mean, I feel like if only there was someone at the call who like drafted Sneasler and didn't have a great way to use it, who could help us
Yeah, I
with
wonder
this.
who there is.
I don't know if there is, but like, I feel like Sneasler needs like a good partner. Like, wouldn't you agree, Alberto?
I agree for sure. Some fucking hell, Sneasler was the worst part of my team last season. And I made playoffs.
Yeah, I think I would put this team last, honestly. I don't think in good conscience I could put Chuckle's team below, just because I feel like Chuckles has, again, like a solid game plan, and Chuckle's team is easier to save, too. But both of these teams,
Yeah.
and Void's team, I think,
You
honestly,
add up
all these
the
bottom 3
radiation.
teams are, like, they have so many good mons and started off in a good direction that, and after the first few picks, I thought they were going in a good direction, but, like, they kind of went awry, and I think it would be nice for them to have a little bit more of an idea or direction of like kind of what
Can we
are
look
doing
at
with
Evi's
this
team again?
Evie's team?
Yeah.
One thing to say about this team too.
Yeah.
Just know Rylaboom hasn't been drafted. So
That is
Rylaboom
true.
still
Rillaboom
there
is
to
under.
take.
If you, I mean,
You cut me off. I was gonna say you can trade Blastoise, Weezing, and Klefki, get Rillaboom, and of course 2 more, and it already is a better
and
team.
DD females undrafted too, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is crazy, by the way. I thought DD female would for sure get drafted.
Yeah, you can get indeed female and a
Rillaboom.
psychic type.
But Rillaboom's Terra banned, unfortunately. But DD female's not. Like, I don't know why DD female went undrafted. Honestly, redirection would be helpful. Like, if you just take Sneasler plus DD female, you can go in so many directions with that. Even if you want a Prankstermon still, I mean, Klefki would be a great fit. I think Murkrow is, like, just not kind of worth the price unless you have a better abuser with it. But I don't know. But yeah, I think these rankings are pretty solid. If anyone here, Delta, I added that. That was last season because I was updating them, and then I kind of like stopped updating them because I think it was kind of dumb. So I guess I'll not delete row. Whoops, delete column. I'll remove it again. Because I don't think it's really useful. Hopefully this is that's, you know what? We can fix this. Here we go. All right. So this is the final ranking. You can see that we have Wah, me, Spam, TBL, Nick, Alberto, P4, Charcoal, Soup, Shanji, Saline, Voids, Chuckle, and Evie. And I think these are pretty fair rankings. Again, if anyone wants to chime in and say you think a team is too high or too low.
No,
Yeah.
I'm happy with.
I agree with everything. I just like to make some, I think the tier rankings. Like, I think Wa and you are like S tiers, and from Spam to Charcoal, A. And I think Soup, Shandy, and Saline probably B, and the rest C. If I had to rank them.
Ooh, wait, that could be a. That could be an idea here. As you were talking, I was like, wait, this guy's onto something. It's I think tier is a fire idea. I think we are probably the
Yeah, you have everything you need in the team. You have a direction. You're not dependent on your direction too. That's.
Yeah, I would say maybe even I'm A plus and he's A or he's S, but I think we could
I
do
could
this.
see that better.
Nah.
But
Yeah.
still, from Spam to Charcoal, I think it's A tier.
I actually, that's where I disagree. I feel like P4 and Charcoal seem maybe slightly. I feel like there's a difference between Spam and Charcoal. Like there's a big difference here. You can't really
There's
put
a
them. I
big
can't in
gap.
context
Yeah,
put them in the
that's fair.
same. I think Spam and TBL's team, and then like maybe Nick and Alberto. I feel like you and Alberto have to be the same tier. You guys are like very similar teams, in my opinion, or in terms of like rating. But P4 maybe is a little worse. Maybe TBL and Spam are a little better. I think maybe this is like A tier. Or we like do A plus A.
I think just A is fine.
Yeah, just 8.
So, is this the color? I think so. Maybe I'll just put my team A plus because I feel like it's. There's no way that.
That's fair. And then P4 and Charcoal can go to B+, because I think they're strictly better than Soup and the rest.
Well, they'd be B then.
Oh yeah, B+.
Just B, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
BCD that works.
Yeah, I just didn't want to get mean and say they're the people are in F tier.
No, it would be D tier, not F. I guess we should probably make this the same color as this, right? Or like some other
Ooh, that
color.
was weird.
Nah,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't look.
What about like
Okay, I can see that.
to pair up
That's
with
better.
this? I don't know. I feel like it would maybe.
Yeah, why not?
maybe
Sure.
I don't even know what we're doing anymore. We've lost the plot.
We're doing Charcoal job for him.
Yeah. Sorry, Charcoal. Ruining the sheet.
The sheet is ours now.
I think the idea of you and TBL being A+ is like a okay idea. I think the
I think maybe just spam.
I think
No.
I think Spam and TBL are pretty comparable, or in terms of like the strength of their teams. I guess I don't think my team is that much worse than Waz.
I
think it
put you
is.
in S tier Blizzard. I don't. You're being humble, but
Okay. Then I would probably put Spam and TBL A+ then, because I feel like they are probably slightly above Nick and Alberto. Like I would have to kind of argue that.
Sure.
I don't think I could really put them in the same tier.
Yeah, and I think my team is really similar to Nick too.
Yeah, I think you guys have to
Similar
be the same
style.
tier. Like just straight up have to be the same tier. But as far as Soup, I think Soup is probably closer to Shanji than Charcoal.
I think Soup, Shandy, and Saline are in one tier.
Yeah,
and the rest
yeah.
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah, because I think Salient, yeah, and Shanji are
Soup is
the
a
same tier.
tiny bit above Shandy Simon, but not a
Probably in the same tier though.
clear
yeah.
enough difference to be in a different tier.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a huge like a W idea, by the way, Alberto.
Why not
Oh, wait.
green?
Yeah, green. Yeah.
Like
My bad. I misclicked, then I was like, "Yep, that looks good." All right, I think this is pretty fair. And so what this means now is that like the S tier teams get charged in S slot and have to rebalance their teams, and A+ teams have to be charged in A+. Yeah, so that way everyone has to remake their entire teams, right? Good call. No.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm already trading some stuff.
Yeah, I think this is somewhat fair. I think yeah, the biggest jumps are between tiers here. Like I think Wah and I are pretty close, I would say. His team is, I would definitely say, is better. But I don't think my team is, far worse. It feels weird putting my team at 2. I would probably want to put it a little bit lower, but I don't think looking at the other teams that there's like another team that's,
If you really want, you can go below me. I don't care. If you really are, if you insist.
No, I wouldn't say your team, but
No, I think your team is better than Spam's.
yeah, maybe I bumped
It's
myself
just a
down to
rare
A+,
moment of
though.
you being humble.
Maybe I bumped myself down to A+.
A rare moment.
I don't know. Maybe I'm also hard on myself, but yeah, I think this is a pretty fair team. Again, this tier list or this power ranking, this is just for the teams. Coaches are not considered. This is not a prediction of the record of these teams or the success of these teams. So, I could go 0-8. Wah could go 0-8. Spam will go 0-8. I'm kidding. But us teams that are ranked at the top, we're just ranked at the top. It doesn't mean we're going to be the best. Teams at the bottom doesn't mean they're going to be the worst, okay? So just keep that in mind. And if anyone wants any help with their teams, I'm always available. Now that I'm done with my finals too, I had 4 final papers and a final exam, but now that I'm done with all that, I am very much locked in on ODL, and if anyone needs any advice or just wants to talk, for a matchup, maybe I can't help as much with matchups, but I can definitely help with the team in general. And, it's a great community at ODL, and we're always willing to help each other, so you can just, ping the at Phalanx Mox rule, and there's someone who will help you. If you want to just watch back in this VOD on your part of the stream, there's going to be timestamps down below once the YouTube video is uploaded. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to Alberto and TBL for joining me. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
Sorry, I think your mic cut off.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Mike.
Do you guys have any final thoughts?
No, thank you for having us, and good luck everyone.
Yeah, the same. Thank you for having us, and I'm sure I'm not as knowledgeable as Blizzard is on VGC, but I'm here if anyone needs help as well.
All right. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck to everyone in the regular season. Peace.